WHCS Channel 29 presents from the city of Lynchburg City Stadium, the Virginia High School Coaches Association 18th Annual All-Star Football Game. Your announcers for tonight's game are Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble.
It has, Tim. It's been a great week up here, and there's a lot of preparation goes into this. This is the Virginia High School League Coaches Association puts this week on where the coaches get together and pick each other's brains.
You're watching as we have joined in progress the presentation of the players from both the East and the West squads and their parents and coaches here at Lynchburg Stadium, a beautiful facility here in the city. Just behind us is the baseball team. I understand the Lynchburg AA, or rather single A baseball team plays from the Carolina League. And it's just a great facility. Our second trip up here to Lynchburg, and so far it looks like we're going to have a real nice evening for football.
Oh, it really does. It's overcast. We had a few sprinkles, but that's about it. Sun's starting to peek through the clouds a little bit, but it's not going to be as warm and hot as it was last year. I was down walking on the field, and the field is in excellent shape. They did have a lot of rain yesterday that rained out the baseball contest that they went ahead and played today at 1 o'clock. But this is a great facility, Tim, and we really enjoy coming back up here. This is our second year here, as you said.
While the parents are returning to the stands, of course, as we mentioned, this is not just a week of football. This is a week of multi-sports, and it is a clinic for the coaches, the Virginia High School Coaches Association. And we're going to look at a little feature we put together for you to give you a little more insight as to exactly what does go on here in Lynchburg.
Every year, the top coaches and athletes in the state convene in Lynchburg as part of an all-sports clinic, which is sponsored by the Virginia High School Coaches Association. Activities for this event are usually spread out over a period of 4 to 5 days. Most of the clinics are conducted at Heritage High School. Golf and soccer are just a few of the many clinics available to coaches. Advanced instruction in football, tennis, field hockey, and other sports are also offered. Most of the students in attendance come to participate in the All-Star Games. Chosen from an elite group of athletes in their respective districts, these students are part of the East-West teams that play one another during the course of the clinic. The All-Star Football Game, which is held in City Stadium, usually draws the most attention. It also serves as a culminating activity for everyone involved. One of the key coordinators of the activities this year is Mike Smith. As the winning coach of last year's All-Star East football team, Smith comes back with a wealth of experience and recognition. As if clinics and All-Star games were not enough, coaches also spend time with vendors at the sports fair. This gives them the opportunity to see and test new equipment and technology in the field of sports. The VHSCA All Sports Clinic is considered by many as one of the top high school clinics in the country, and one we're proud to bring to you for a second consecutive year.
All right, we're back here at Lynchburg City Stadium, and we're going to give you right now the names of the officials for tonight's ball game.
This group is from the Southeastern football officials, Tim. They're the ones that did the AAA AAA State Championship Division 6. They are referee Ron Cherry, umpire Mac McLean, linesman Les Flora, line judge Tony Brothers, and back judge Chris Brown. And they are an excellent crew.
Sun has broken out here at the stadium. A little earlier in the overcast, our roving reporter A.G. Womble had a chance to talk with the opposing coaches. Let's go first to that interview with A.G. and Bo Henson, the head coach from E.C. Glass High School, coaching the West football roster.
Oh, we got Coach Bo Henson of E.C. Glass, state champions 5A. Bo, quite an honor coaching this all-star team. How's practice gone this week?
Practice has been hot. You know, it's been a challenge as far as the kids, and as far as the coaches are concerned, it's different. You've got guys in here from different schools, 33 different kids, so we've had to be real careful this year. This past week with the heat, it's been bad.
In a game like this, who has the advantage, offense or defense?
Well, you always say the defense is always ahead of the offense, so I would say right now, play good defense, you stay in a ball game.
On that East squad, you got Kirby and Eric Hunter. What are you going to do to stop them tonight?
I tell you, we've got this is, you know, probably this is the best East team that's ever been assembled. With not only they have Kirby and Hunter, but you know they
happened to be the year you're coaching against them.
They got some great ball players. So you know, we've just got to play good defense. We've got to do what we're supposed to do, and hopefully get some turnovers, keep the ball on offense, and you know, then we don't know what the outcome.
Who's going to be the stars on the West team tonight?
Well, we've got David Bedwell from Fairfax, who's an excellent quarterback. We got Poindexter boy from Ala Vista's running back. I had the AAA Player of the Year, B.B. Shavers. He'd be one of my leaders on defense. So there's some of our better kids.
All right, Coach, good luck to you tonight. What about EC Glass this year? What can we expect from them?
We're going after it, and we hope to have another great year.
All right, we've had the toss of the coin by referee Ron Cherry. As you see the sunlight bright over his shoulder, and the West and East squad, we're going to get an indication now as to who has won the toss.
The West won, Tim, and they will receive.
Representing the East squad, it's an all-peninsula representation out there. 81 coming off the field was Melendez Bird, 42, Terry Kirby, James Wilson, number 75, and Eric Hunter, number 10, still talking to the official.
Yes, it's quite a contingent out there, Tim, and we got just a minute or so before we go to the game. So if you want to get the other coach in here.
Yeah, we're going to take a look real quickly here at the East offensive lineup.
And you can see there Eric Hunter is the quarterback, Terry Kirby, Mark Hill, the running backs. You have 54 Heck in there, Glenn, Brunson, Farkas, a big guy, 6'8", 295, McCall, Holloway, Inman, and Todd Kelly out of Bethel High School.
All right, we're going to have to squeeze that interview with the East coach in as we go along here. Incidentally, the captains were chosen by the players themselves, so it's coincidental that the 5 players are from the Eastern region, that they should be the, I guess, what would you call the quint captains, the 5 of them?
Yes, well, there's 4 of them.
4 of them, okay. In any event, the East will be kicking off. They will be defending the goal to our left. There you see them in the red, white, and blue.
And number 15, Price Williams, who is also the backup quarterback, will be kicking off for the East. And you can see deep for the West, Tim. As you can see down there, it looks like number 10. David Bedwell, who is also a quarterback. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like number 10.
Number 30, William Wells, is actually the deep man for the West squad. It's hard to pick up, but we've had an overcast afternoon completely, and then just as we're trying to do the game, the sun breaks out. So
we're right in our eyes.
Bear with us as best you can. We are about set to get this 18th annual East-West All-Star game underway. At game time, temperature in the low 80s. Not a bad evening for football, considering that the coaches said the heat here has been horribly oppressive all week long, and they've had to be real easy with these guys. These kids are huge. These guys probably, we talked about it last year. I'd hate to see the meal bill for this week.
Well, I tell you, I was walked out on a field, and I'm not small, but I was out there in that field.
I'm not sure exactly why the momentary delay to the start of the game here, but we should be getting underway in just a minute. If we have it, we can run down real quickly.
The defense,
there we go, the East defense. We'll give you the offense and defense for the West in a moment, but there you see, as we have it, we were unable to get the entire starting defensive lineup. But again, the squad peppered with players from the Eastern District.
There's a great contingent up here, Tim. I was also talking with Coach Mike Smith earlier. There are, in the program, it says that James Wilson is going to Virginia Tech, and that's an error. He is going to Tennessee, and he will be down in Tennessee with 4. There's 4 players up here on this East squad. They'll be going to Tennessee, and the other one, of course, is Todd Kelly, the young man out of Bethel High School who was signed to go to Tennessee. So there are some awesome athletes up here.
Well, I'll tell you, we are having a momentary delay because of all reasons. The clock operator apparently has not arrived here, so they're going to hopefully find a clock operator as quickly as possible. While we have this momentary delay, let's go to that interview with Coach McPhee that AG had a chance to talk to a little earlier.
We got the East coach now, Richard McPhee. And Coach, what about coaching these All-Stars? It must be quite an honor.
Yes, it is. It's quite an honor for me to have this opportunity to coach these fine young men.
All right, Terry Kirby, Eric Hunter from the Peninsula, and several others. They're quite outstanding young men in their own rights.
Yes, they are. I'm proud to say that I had an opportunity to coach Terry Kirby and Eric Hunter, even though I'm not really coaching them. We're just doing some things to try to win an all-star game. Their coaches at their schools did an outstanding job with all these young men.
You're up against Coach Bo Henson. You remember him from the finals last year. A little extra incentive going for you tonight.
Oh, yeah. He beat us in Richmond 22-7 for the state championship. So this is like somewhat a little revenge. Hopefully it'll be sweet at the end.
All right. What about that West squad? Who are you going to have to be able to stop?
Well, they got a running back by the name of Michael Johnson, and Michael is his father's from Richmond, and they got two outstanding linebackers in Tommy Thigpen and B.B. Shavers from here in Lynchburg.
What's your game plan offensively?
Throw the football and run Terry Kirby as much as possible.
Can Hunter air it out?
Oh, yes, he can. He's very good. First day in practice, first pass he threw on the bomb was about 60, 65 yards on the fly. We got the people that can go get it.
There you're looking into the East huddle, and we understand that we do have a volunteer clock operator who has jumped in and will fill in for the official clock operator. All right, so we will be playing 4 12-minute quarters. William Price from Colonial Heights High School has the ball teed up for the East squad. Same deep men, nothing's changed, and we've had a chance to give you those interviews, so I guess we could thank the clock operator for being a little tardy. But we are underway from Lynchburg Stadium. Across the 35-yard line is Michael Johnson from Robinson High School.
John Smith, number 41, out of Madison County High School, was on the tackle coming out. That was a nice run back. I was out on the field earlier over there on the right side close to the west benches, a little soggy in spots from the sprinkling system and with the rain they got yesterday.
The West squad will start from their 36-yard line.
David Bedwell is quarterbacking.
And he hands off on the inside. That handoff goes to Ron Shavers of E.C. Glass High School, coached by Bo Henson, who is the head coach for the West squad.
And right in on that tackle was number 65, Tim Williams, a fine nose guard out of Phoebus High School, coached by Billy D.
Pickup of about a yard. Let's call it 2nd down and 9 for the West.
Second about 8.
He's going to pass in the flats. He's juggled momentarily, but held on to. And getting close to the first down will be number 80. That's Lewis Preston.
And, Tim, Steve King, number 32, defensive back from King William, was on the tackle. But he had all kinds of running room when he caught the ball. There was a nice block thrown in there, and the young man had to come up from the deep cornerback to make that stop.
And we're going to get a chance to see that play again.
It's just a quick pass out to the flat like a screen, and he juggled the ball and picked up 10 yards before anybody got to, well, actually about 9 yards, because they're 3rd and about a half.
3rd and short. Bedwell over center, keeps the ball himself and gets more than enough for the first down as he gets out close to the 48-yard line.
As Melendez Bird along with Tim Williams in on the tackle, and 2 young men from the peninsula, Bethel and Phoebus respectively.
There you see on the replay, Bedwell just kept the ball and followed his right guard for the first down at the 48-yard line. So the West now has the initial first down of the ball game. We've played a little more than 2 minutes. In motion to the near side is Alfonso Ward. Pitch back. This is Poindexter. And the ball is going to be marked shy of midfield.
Melendez Bird was one of the tacklers along with number 35, Sean Crocker out of Sussex Central High School. But there was a tremendous pursuit on that defensive unit from the East. There are some awesome athletes out there on both squads, but you'd have to say it heavily favors the East squad.
You see, causing that play to bog down on that side. Excellent pursuit by the defensive squad, the left side particularly. Second down and about 8 on the delay. Nothing happening there. A loss on the play as Poindexter is met at the middle of the line
by by Melendez Bird, number 81. He was playing linebacker, did a great job at Bethel High School under Coach Kozlowski this year. Met him on that delay pickup of, actually lost a little on that.
Tim Williams again. Watch here. You'll see Tim Williams down at the bottom of that pile. So the defense asserting itself here, and it's third down and about 9 for the West squad. So they've gone backwards or nothing for the last 2 downs.
Well, this is definitely a passing situation.
And we've got motion right side of the line. That would be number 60, Sean Bowman, left before the snap of the ball. He raised up from the 3-point stance, and it'll cost the West 5.
Yeah, that'll be 5 on the penalty, and he was just anxious to get out, and it looked like it was going to be either a sweep or maybe a moving pocket for the passer to sprint to the right. If he's a right-handed quarterback, sprinting to the right favors his throwing arm much better.
Well, we have referee Ron Cherry wired, but unfortunately our wireless mic is not working at this time. Third down now and about 16. Edwell gets pressure from Wilson, gets away from him, gets away from a second would-be tackler, and finally takes a dive at the 44. As pursuing for the East squad was Terry Hayes of Norview High School. And Tim Williams in on the stop also, he from Phoebus High School. So the West squad got the first down and then couldn't move the ball past the 48-yard line. We'll watch a replay. There you see Wilson put pressure on Bedwell.
And once he did that, he could not set and pass because there was too much pressure coming on him from then on.
Bad snap on the kick, but he gets it away. It's a short kick. That was Mark Jefferson kicking for the West. East squad will let it roll dead at their 30-yard line.
And now we get a chance to see Mr. Terry Kirby along with Eric Hunter, quarterback. And if we remember last year, we got to do the very first game of the season against Tab and Hampton, and those 2 young men faced each other. Today they're on the same side. Young Mr. Eric Hunter going to Purdue University. Of course, Terry Kirby going to the University of Virginia.
The backfield also has Mark Hill of Norview High School in there. So in the I formation, it's Hill and then Kirby. And Kirby gets the fake. Hunter will roll and look. Has a man open, completes the pass.
Todd Kelly with a nice catch.
So Todd Kelly on the receiving end. They knock him out of bounds just shy of midfield. And it'll be a first down for the East squad.
Everybody in the stands knew Terry Kirby was going to get the ball. He faked it to Kirby, rolled out, got a nice block on the sprint, and a beautiful pass. As you'll see here, the fake to Kirby and a nice block here as he rolls. And Eric can really pass that ball. Just fired it right into Todd Kelly.
Hill gets the call, and he will be ridden for a loss. Good defensive pressure by Ron Shavers.
Well, they're going to spot the ball at the 50, so actually picked up maybe about 3 inches.
So his forward progress will be marked just at the 50-yard line. So what appeared to be a loss will in fact end up being a very short gain, and Hill will check out of the ball game for the East squad. And in the backfield now, along with Kirby, will be Reginald Givens. And again, to pass, Hunter unloads. He's got a man deep. Pass underthrown, but caught.
What a catch by number 22, Corey Holiday, out of Huguenot High School. Beautiful. He just took the ball away from the defender.
No question about it. The ball was underthrown. We know Hunter has a great arm, and that ball was a little short. And as you said, you're absolutely right, Bob. Corey Holiday came back for the ball.
Yeah, we can see it on instant replay.
Again, Hunter, who likes to throw the long one, takes that quick drop back and unloads. Now you see the ball here is a little short, and Holiday just reaches up and makes a fine grab. And in the center of the line, back to the live action, I believe we are going to have seen the first carry of the ball game, and some threatening gestures from the West squad. Terry Kirby carried, and pointing a finger at him menacingly was Keith Hamilton, who was saying something to the effect, "I'm waiting for you, Mr. Kirby."
Well, Mr. Kirby comes out for a quick breather.
Hill is in the backfield. This is the quarterback, Hunter, on the option, and he will not be called for the fumble. The West squad saying he might have fumbled a ball, but no fumble was recorded, as it appeared on the option play that Hunter may in fact flip the ball back to Charles Anderson, but he elected instead to hold on to the ball and take a short loss.
Well, they're right at about the 2-yard line, and you're not going to want to take anything a big gamble at this point, and Terry Kirby is back in the backfield now.
So it'll be Mark Hill from Norview, Kirby from Tabb High School, and the quarterback will be Eric Hunter. Setting up to the left side is Corey Holliday, and now we're going to have an official's timeout.
The West is going to call a timeout. They've got to do something to regroup. That was an exciting pass, but we have seen Mr. Eric Hunter throw that pass all year long for Hampton High School.
And Holliday, of course, made a good grab on the play as well for the big gainer. So the East squad now with a timeout called by the West squad.
That's what you call concentration. He wanted that ball so bad. He concentrated on the ball, even though it was underthrown, and he jumped first, got his hands off, and just took it away from the defender. The defender played the ball, played him just about as well as he could, and was in position to intercept the ball. But that young man just wanted it worse. Corey Holliday out of Huguenot High School.
If you just joined us here on Channel 29, you're watching the 18th annual All-Star game between the East and West squads. We're going to watch a replay of that last pass completion. The 18th annual VHSCA East-West All-Star game.
Now watch the concentration that Corey does here.
He's a little taller than the defender, too.
But you'll notice he leaps up in the air just about a half a second before. You see he's already up in the air, concentrating on the ball, and that's why he got it.
All right, back to the live action. It's 3rd down and goal at the 2. And now we've got flags down. Wait and see who this is against.
If this could be against the East if they went down into a 3-point stance and then broke it.
Now let's wait and have the referee, Ron Cherry, will give us the indication. And it's illegal procedure against the West. So we're going to go half the distance to the goal line. And again, we apologize that hum you hear is the microphone that's not working. So the East is given a bit of a break there. They do not end up losing any yardage. In fact, they get a yard gain on the no play. So now it's 3rd and goal at the 1.
Well, what do you do, Tim? You take it in as a quarterback keeper, or you give the ball to Terry Kirby?
Kirby and Hill are the running backs. There you see it right from the ground camera. And Hunter will keep, and he will not get. So Hunter stacked up at the line of scrimmage. In there for the West squad was Matt Johnson, number 70, among others. And Eric Hunter did not get in. In fact, he got nothing. So now it brings up an interesting situation. You got 4th down and goal. I have to somehow wonder why you don't hand the ball to Terry Kirby on a 3rd and goal on the 1.
Well, either one of those plays should work. The straight power dive to either Hill or Kirby or the quarterback sneak. It should have worked. He just didn't get to the hole quick enough. West did an excellent job of plugging the hole.
All right, this is it. 4th and goal. First quarter, no score. And this is Kirby diving into the end zone. So Terry Kirby, with 3:55 remaining in the first quarter, dives over from the 1-yard line for the initial score of the ball game.
And that's quite a gamble, but you got the athletes in that backfield like the East have. That was not much of a gamble as it looked. Now doing the place kicking again will be number 15, the other quarterback, Price Williams, out of Colonial Heights.
Seems to be a powwow of sorts here. Mike Smith is out on the field, and I'm not sure. There seems to be some hard feelings between the two squads. I'm not sure, you know, anyone who thinks this all-star game is an exhibition game and they don't care about the results of this game has another thing coming.
Well, Mike is out there to keep the tempers cool. It's all right to show emotion and all that, but don't get to the point where you're taunting, and that's not good sportsmanship.
And we're only speculating that that's what this was all about, but I've seen some finger pointing and some taunting and things like this, and there's a little bit of bad blood between some of these players. They've faced each other in crucial games before, and there might be a few little, I don't know, what do you want to call it, debts to pay? Price's kick is long enough. And it is good. So we have a 7-0 score as the East squad takes the ball on downs and drives 48 yards for the first touchdown.
Actually, they drove 60 yards.
60 yards.
70 yards. They started at the 30.
That's right. You're absolutely right. I forgot they punted. 70-yard drive. And let's give credit, though. Other than that long pass completion, the West squad played pretty good defense.
Well, there was 2 pass completions. The one very first play of the game, which really caught the defense on the West napping, because everybody was looking for Kirby, and there was an excellent call by Coach McPhee, who was out of Huguenot High School, the head coach for the East squad. And notice that Mike Smith is not coaching this year. All he's doing is overseeing everything, which he does anyway. Even last year, he oversaw everything and then coached also.
You see the replay of the touchdown. Kirby did not make it by much. He was upended well by the submarining defenders of the West squad, but was able to get that ball across the plane. And there you're looking at the very happy East squad bench. Our main man on the spot there, Sam Jr. down on the sidelines. Our congratulations, by the way, to Sam Still Jr. as he has taken a position with WTVR Channel 6 in Richmond. And we wish him the very best. We'll certainly miss his expertise on the camera throughout our football, basketball, and baseball coverage.
Number 66, Charles Williams out of Huguenot, was the defender on that play. But there was some mighty hard hitting going on, as they saw on the screen.
I'm telling you, there's no love lost between either one of these squads.
Well, let's see, the West won the girls and the boys basketball, and then won the baseball game earlier today 5-4. So the East has a little pride here in making sure they don't have a clean sweep.
First down for the West squad from the 26-yard line. This is Bedwell again, feeling pressure, steps around the pressure, fakes, pumps, evades one would-be tackler, and then is knocked out of bounds on the far sidelines, but he picks up about 4.
Number 55 and 41 were the 2 young men, John Smith and Roderick Ruffin out of Ferguson High School were the 2 defenders, but he did a good job of faking the pass, and they end up picking up about 3 yards. But his defenders were covered, and he got a lot of pressure up the middle.
Last year, the East squad won this game 9-7, snapping a 7-year losing streak to the West. There you're going to watch the replay.
See, that's 65 right there. That's Tim Williams putting all the pressure on him and made him come out of that pocket.
Fumble on the live action. The ball is picked up by the East squad. They've got it.
That was number 66, Charles Williams, that was very quick on it. Now we got a penalty down here, and I'm not sure what that penalty's about.
We'll wait and see. That penalty may be a dead ball situation after the fact, but we'll have to wait and see how they will rule this.
Well, it was after the whistle had sounded, so it will be a dead ball foul.
Let's see if we can get this covered out. We have some of the players from both squads kind of trying to make some peace out there. You don't expect a lot of this to be going to personal foul penalty charged to the East squad. I don't remember a lot of this happening last year, but the intensity level is extremely high.
Well, there's a lot of players that have gotten a lot of publicity, mainly Terry Kirby with being the Gator Aid athlete of the year in football, and as well as he's done in basketball, and with the Boo Williams AAU All-Star team. So there's maybe some jealousy on it. I say, hey, if he's that good, I'm going to show him that I can hit him.
Well, I understand we don't have this knowledge firsthand, but I'm told that earlier in the week there were some comments in the press here in Lynchburg by the West squad, and I won't use all the expletives because some of them need to be deleted, but some of these boys said to the effect that they were going to make sure Kirby was spending most of the evening on his posterior. So that still remains to be seen. And of course, all of us in the Hampton Roads area will be very anxiously following Terry's progress in the coming season in both basketball and football for the University of Virginia, as we will many other players. I'm anxious to see how Eric Hunter does with Purdue.
I believe Purdue got themselves an excellent quarterback. It's first and 25 because of the dead ball foul. The foul will come from the point, and we got a new quarterback in there.
This is Price, and he throws the ball at the feet of Mark Hill. Norview graduate was the intended receiver at the 32-yard line. That ball at his shoe tops.
Well, looks like what Coach McPhee is going to do is each series put in a different quarterback.
And we have a similar situation with the rest of the backfield, as we'll see some new numbers back in there. There'll be 24. Elbert Singleton is in the backfield for the East squad.
Now, he's out of Ferguson High School on the peninsula, coached by Steve Isley.
2nd down and 10. The clock stops with 3:01 left in the first.
2nd and 25.
Excuse me, 2nd and 25. You're right. Handoff this time to number 40, Antonio Conway of Parkview High School. Picks up a couple.
And he's tackled by number 33, Ronald Schaefer, out of Radford High School.
They mark the ball at the 34-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 21 to go. We'll watch a replay, just the very tail end of that play. Two minutes, 30 seconds, clock moving. Wide receivers to the right side for the East squad. That's Corey Holliday, who caught that big pass earlier. Price drops back, has some time, unloads. He is unloaded on. The ball thrown downfield, incomplete, but a flag is down.
And a flag has got to be against the West, but it'll be 15 yards, which will not be enough for a first down, but it'll give them a shot closer to the goal and maybe get close enough to kick a field goal. We'll see what happens. I'm just speculating on the call.
We'll let referee Ron Cherry indicate, as he does, interference against the West. And that will be, in fact, a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. So many of you that are not familiar with high school rules, it is not at the point of the infraction. It is 15 yards from the line of scrimmage. So it will not give the East squad a first down, but they will be certainly much closer, and they'll still be 3rd down.
It'll be about the 19-yard line, which is a whole lot closer than where this young man started. I kind of feel sorry for the new quarterback in there for the East. Price Williams, you come in, first time you get the ball, you got a 1st and 25. That's almost not fair. But he's done a good job so far.
Now they're going to rule a automatic first down on the play, which we overlooked.
Oh, that's true.
Didn't stop to think about that. So the yardage is superfluous as to where they had been and needed to go. It is now a first down from the 19 of the West. So a little different situation for the East squad now. Williams rolling, looking, and is driven out of bounds as he gets close to the original line of scrimmage. He may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
He just ran out of time. There was number 22, Corey Holliday was breaking open as he started his move and didn't have a chance to set and throw the ball.
Watch it again on the replay.
You see at the top of the screen, that's Corey Holliday.
But he just didn't spot him.
Yeah, well, and he thinking more of, I don't want to get sacked. I'm sure that was in his back of his mind.
So we've seen an oddity of sorts in that we have expected to see a fair running attack from the East squad. So far, not much happening on the ground. That time the handoff goes to Terry Kirby.
And he's tripped up by Mark Jefferson out of Allegheny High School, who's a defensive end.
Oh, just inside the 18-yard line. We're inside of 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. The East squad on the Terry Kirby 1-yard touchdown and the extra point by Price Williams, and they lead 7-0. We're coming to you from Lynchburg Stadium. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble, and the 18th annual All-Star Game.
And I hear that at the end of this first quarter, A.G. is going to talk to Coach Kozlowski of Bethel High School.
Fumble on the exchange.
A fumble, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see who's going to come up with it.
20-yard line is where it's recovered. They're going to indicate it is recovered by the East squad.
And that's something that you expect to see a whole lot more of, because these young men haven't been working that closely together, and the timing has a tendency to get off.
Looked like there might have been some help from the West squad. They looked like they reached in there.
He just really bumped on the handoff fake to Mark Hill. He just lost the ball. And we're going to try a long field goal here by Price Williams.
It'll be a 37-yard attempt out of the hold of John Smith.
4th and 11.
Virtually no wind here. The ball is going to be well short and to the left. So the touchback will bring the ball out to the line of scrimmage.
And I'm sure that Price Williams is upset. But again, he's got probably a brand new holder who hasn't held for him at all. And, you know, it's a timing situation, and you got a new center and everything. But, you know, this young man is an integral part of this East team.
This game was played on the 13th of July, 1989. At game time, temperature comfortable in the, I would say, the upper 70s, maybe around 80 degrees.
Oh, it's nice. It's
Not bad at all. Nice, a good crowd on hand. There
you can see the shot of them right there. It's a bigger crowd than we had last year, if I remember correctly. Number 33 for the West, Ronald Schaefers.
They call him RB Shavers.
Ooh, he did an excellent job. Picked up 8 yards.
Half a minute to go here in the first quarter. East squad leading by 7. Please stay tuned at the quarter break. As you mentioned, Bob, we'll have A.G. Womble, and as you see the replay there, a good pickup of about 8 yards by Shavers.
And that was number 70, Jim Fenwick, hanging on to him as he was going down.
Flags are down. Close to a first down, but we'll have to wait and hold it here to see if, in fact, it will be a penalty against the East squad. I have a feeling someone might have left it a little early on the West squad, rather.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. He is about a half a yard short of the first down, but if the penalty's against the West, which it looks like as they are backing up, they'll definitely take that penalty, because they'll take it from the line of scrimmage. So that should put him back to, what, about second and...
We got 12, 8.
Second and 8,
Sammy.
7.
He's right here. He's right here. But we got this.
So the penalty is marked off against the West, and they restart the clock. We may or may not get this play underway before the first quarter ends. There's just 5 seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1, and they will not get the play away. So after 12 minutes of action here from Lynchburg Stadium, the score is the East squad 7, the West squad nothing. And let's go down to the field now. A.G. Womble and one of our friends, Coach Killer Kozlowski from Bethel High School.
All right, Tim, Bob, we got Coach Kozlowski at Bethel. Koz, up 7-zip. Your thoughts on that first quarter?
Well, some very key plays. Melendez-Byrd came up with a big play to stop a 3rd and long situation. And then also, when we got the ball back, Todd Kelly came up with a first down pass. And, of course, the East took dominance by just driving the ball down and scoring. Big play, a pass from Hunter to the wide receiver.
All right, Kirby stuck it in down from about 2 yards out.
Well, I was a little surprised that he didn't get the ball a little earlier in that goal line effort. You know, they waited till 4th down to give it to him.
Koz, about 4 Peninsula players did well here as team captains. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the players themselves select the captain, and we were fortunate to have 3 Hampton athletes selected, 2 from Hampton, 1 from Bethel, and Terry Kirby, of course, from Tab. So it was an Eastern sweep.
All right, it's been going a little bit rough for the East this week, but things are going so far tonight pretty good.
Well, they really look good executing. I think defensively we look a lot sharper than I really thought we would. Offensively, a little sluggish, but Hunter's throwing the ball well tonight.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach Koz. Coach Kozlowski, Tim and Bob, back to you.
The Grecian formula duo there. There's not none of that Ray with the wave with those guys, huh?
No, they...
Is that what coaching does to you?
I tell you, I got out of it before it did it to me.
Coach Kozlowski, one of the most intense and likable coaches in the game. Dennis is one of those type of people that if you're against him, he'll beat you to death, but if he's your friend, he's a friend for life. So he's a good fella.
That was Kerry Perkins on the wide receiver, came back on a comeback pass, dropped the ball as he hit the ground, so it was incomplete. So that brings up a 3rd down and 7.
Went right through his hands, Bob. As we'll see on the replay here, the quarterback gets the ball right to him. It's a good pass. He should have this ball. There you see, it just couldn't hold on to it. Although there was some rain earlier, there was not an appreciable amount, and the field is in pretty good shape, and we have not had any rain during the actual playing of the game. 2nd down now. Check that, 3rd down and about 7. Pressure on Bedwell. He gets it away, though. He's got a man open at the 40. And a flag goes down, I believe.
We got a face mask.
A face mask penalty tacked on as the receiver was Lewis Preston of Martinsville High School.
And that was number 11, James Hall, one of the defenders, and he just let him get behind him.
So the West squad strikes for the big play.
And everybody knew that was going to be a pass play.
3rd and long, we'll see.
And now we'll see it on replay, and you see he got chased out of the pocket again, which he has all night, but he did a good job of concentrating and watching his receiver, turned his shoulders, and fired the ball right over the head of one of the defenders. Beautiful pass.
And we're going to watch here and see if we can't pick up the face mask call.
And that was Keith Palmer, number 32, right there, as you can see the face mask.
Face mask infraction. 1st and 10 for the West.
So it looked like it was going to be a tough task to bring down the big 6'2", 195-pound Preston, and a little help from the face mask cost the West, or rather the East squad, some extra yardage. So now the West squad, trailing by a touchdown, has it 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. David Bedwell is the quarterback. Bedwell pitches the ball back to Michael Johnson.
And he does a good job of following his blockers.
Johnson trying to turn it inside there and had some success.
And that's Larry Thompson, number 62, making the tackle. And that's one of the changes I picked up in the announcement.
Number 62.
Shame you didn't share that with your buddy here. Watch the replay and you'll see.
Takes it almost to the 6-yard.
Michael Johnson, one of the premier running backs. All these young men out here are premier players, so you don't get here by not being a good player. Makes it that much more interesting. 2nd down and about 3. Not much happening there as the East squad got in and stopped Johnson.
Glenn Pettis, young man out of Nottoway, made that fine defensive play, actually lost about a yard on the play.
So it brings up a 3rd down and about 3, maybe almost 4. We'll call it a short 4.
Or a long 3.
Or a long 3. 10:15 left to go here in the first half. The East squad against the West squad. This is the West squad with the football.
A nice time for a draw play. Well, it's a delay, and it looks like he may be close to the 1st down. That was number 12, John Zopp.
No, actually, that's 22.
I'm sorry, it wasn't Zopp.
Poindexter.
That's right, he's another quarterback.
That's Bart Zopp from Fauquier High School, the young player who we've seen on the last couple of seasons. Hampton has had the misfortune of playing the team from Fauquier.
Well, I don't think Hampton had the misfortune. I think Fauquier had the misfortune.
Well, they only had the misfortune in the sense that they had to play a tough squad, but both times the squad of Mike Smith dominated the team, and Zopp was on the losing end twice. I'm sure he'll want to get in the ball game before this night is over with to avenge some of those things as well. Going to measure for the 1st down, and it is long enough for the 1st down. So the West squad now will have a 1st and goal.
And that Kevin Poindexter did a lot of that on his own.
So now the East defense will be tested here with the shadow of their goal post behind them. Ball is going to be marked at the, well, between the 3 and 4 yard line. 1st and goal for the West. Bedwell And not much happening, as good pursuit by the East squad. Over there was Glenn Pettis of Nottoway High School.
Down by Jesse Kay.
Jesse Kay, number 61, wrapped him up right away and actually picked up maybe about a half a yard, if that.
Running backs for the West now, Alan Hackman, 33, and Corey Holliday, number 22. Second and goal again, maybe a yard at the most. Tough defense being shown by the East squad. Eric Dye, number 62, in there.
And also number 63 and 66 were both in there. 63 is Terry Hayes, 66 is Charles Williams. But he was met by the center of that line and picked up maybe about a yard.
So the West squad earning every bit of. There you see our friend Lenny Franklin, who is instrumental in a lot of the program going on here at Lynchburg. And we, as usual, appreciate his help. He helped me track down some programs a little earlier this afternoon. So he and Danny Mitchell, as a matter of fact, both of them very helpful as usual. You see Lenny. Third down and goal at about the 2-yard line. Pitch back comes to Holliday. He's not going to get even back to the line of scrimmage.
And that's number 11, James Hall, out of Cortland, did a fine defensive play. They just strung that ball wide. And so that means that the West is going to have to attempt a field goal.
Super defensive effort by the East there, as they were facing a first and goal inside the 4. And after 3 downs, the West is further away than they were. Watch the replay here. The pitch back comes to Holliday. And the pursuit forces him to go wide, and there you see an excellent play by James Hall of Cortland as he wrapped him up for the big loss.
And they're not going for the field goal, they're going for a score.
Sean Crocker, 35, is in the backfield. Rolling to his left, he spots Holliday, and he's in.
And he got the touchdown. What a nice and excellent call by the West squad. Bo Henson, EC Glass.
Check that, I was giving the name for the wrong number 22. That's Kelvin Poindexter, number 22, who's in the backfield for the West squad.
And that's just a swing, a simple route right out of the back.
So again, Bob, who picked up the touchdown that time?
It was number 22.
That was, as I mentioned, that was Kelvin Poindexter.
Yes.
Tim Spence will attempt the extra point. David Bedwell is holding.
Spence is kicking for the West to get the, try to tie this game. Uh-oh, that's a fake.
Bedwell has it picked off, so the extra point will go.
Picked off by Melendez Bird, number 81. That's who Kozlowski was talking about earlier, so they are still behind.
Let's watch the replay of the touchdown now. There you see the pitch back goes to Poindexter.
Now this is the play before, Tim, where he was thrown for a loss. The next play is where he came out of the backfield and just did a little slant route with a nice pass by the quarterback.
Our director told me that we were going to see the replay of the touchdown. Slow-mo Joe, here we go. I knew slow-mo.
Here he goes, right there. You can see 22 is wide open, and nobody's coming up to pick him up. And after he catches the ball, does a good job coming back against the grain.
I thought he was stopped.
Well, he would have been had he kept trying to go to the left, but he came back to the right, went against that grain, and picked up the 3 or 4 yards he needed to score.
So the East defense did a great job, but they were unable to keep them out of the end zone. They backed them up, but on the big play, when they needed it, David Bedwell found Poindexter for the touchdown. The extra point try, however, was intercepted by Melendez Bird, and our score remains 7-6, the East squad, with 6:43 left here in the first half. A squibber kicked and going to be fallen upon by the East squad.
That's Terry Kirby. He just went ahead and went down because the ball was touched.
Still about the 20-yard line.
Ball will be marked just shy of the 20. Eric Hunter will trot out, bringing his own football as they I guess they have different type of ball from each of the different regions.
Well, it's the kind that I guess it's the ones that they practice with all week.
This way, if Eric Hunter doesn't like the way things are going, he'll just say, I'm taking my ball and going home.
I don't think it works quite like that.
He has Mark Hill and Terry Kirby in the backfield. Anyone would be happy to have those two running backs. Here's Kirby, and Kirby bobbles the football but picks it up and gets back a yard or so on the play. So a pretty good break there and a good bounce.
It really was.
Kirby had trouble on the pitch, but was able to get a good roll on the ball and pick it up and actually end up gaining about a yard. We'll watch it again.
Steve Hamilton made the tackle.
He just simply didn't feel the ball well. It was right there.
It hit him right in the hands. That was an excellent pitch by Eric Hunter.
Good concentration on Kirby's part to pick the ball up and, in fact, make a short gainer out of the play. Let's call it 2nd down and 9 after the 1-yard gain. 5:40 left here in the first half. East squad by a point. Hunter rolling to his left. The right-handed quarterback sets and throws. He's got a man at the 40-yard line, and he is driven out of bounds. Should be a late flag, but I don't see one.
That was definitely a late hit out of bounds, but was no flag.
That's Corey Holliday again on the receiving end of that pass. So Holliday set up the first touchdown by the East squad, and this time gets the big gainer out to the 49-yard line.
Well, what even made that more impressive is Eric Hunter was running to the left and had to square his shoulders around, and put a lot of zip on that ball. As you can see on this replay, that he just makes a turn, as you'll see him turn his shoulders and put a lot of zip on that ball, and he got hit just as he released it.
First down from the 49. Pitch back to Terry Kirby. Kirby popped as he hits midfield by number 35, and that would be Willie Johnson.
Well, he ran over Willie Johnson. Johnson was the one that went backwards. But you heard the oohs and the ahs from the fans on this side of the field. That was a hard, I guess, yeah, about a yard. That's a hard yard.
That's twice that Kirby's had to work real hard for a yard, and the young man had over 7,400 career yards at Tabb High School. He's had a tough go tonight to get a couple of tough yards. He's got a 1-yard touchdown and a couple of 1-yard gains.
Well, he's kind of a marked man out there.
Hunter fakes, has time, spots Holliday open. It's just a little too tall for Corey Holliday. He was at the 35-yard line and couldn't quite reach it.
Well, you can see the versatility of Eric Hunter. I've been impressed with him ever since he was a starter as a junior at Hampton. But that time he just went back and set up in a pocket, a real quick drop back about 2-3 steps, set up, and then just overthrew his receiver. He's used to those big guys like Aaron Mundy, the 6'6" young men that get bigger targets, I guess.
Of course, Eric Hunter, a novelty of sorts in that he, and we have a timeout being called by the East squad, started to say that Hunter, of course, had 2 championships that he was directly involved with this past season, as he led the Hampton Crabbers football team at quarterback to the state championship, their 2nd consecutive championship. And then he turned around and helped his basketball team with the help of that Aaron Mundy you referred to earlier. And speaking of basketball, there was basketball played here earlier in the week. And I'd like to make some reference to some of the statistics that would go along with some of the players that were involved in that game.
I have no problem with that.
Glad to hear it. Cedric Williams of Hampton, a young man we watched on that championship squad, scored 9 points in a losing effort against the West squad in the basketball. As you mentioned, Bob, the West has won everything this week except this game, and the East squad is determined to alter that. Kevin Swan played but did not score for the East squad. And we also had, let's see, who else we had? Well, on the girls team, the East girls team, 3 points shy on the victory, but they were paced by 9 points by one of our favorites, Nikki Reed of Phoebus High School. And
Dawn Paps was also on that
Paps
squad.
Scored some points in that game, as well as the young lady Thomas. And we've got a screen pass set up at the middle of the field here. That looks like
Todd Kelly. That was a nice pass, and it was tough to find Todd in front of with all those people. But now this is 4th down, so this is definitely a punting situation, and it'll be the first punt of the game. No, 2nd punt of the game, first time for the East. That was an excellent call.
There you see the replay as Big Todd Kelly got himself an official on the play. We'll watch Terry Kirby punt the ball from his 45. The ball goes about 500 yards in the air up. The ball fumbled. East squad has got it.
And who was that got the ball? Was that Melendez Bird?
Melendez Bird was certainly there.
Or number 77, one of the two got it.
77 would be Mario Brunson of Craddock High School. In any event, the East squad has recovered the fumble. See if we have a replay of that. I would seriously be surprised if Slow-Mo Joe didn't have that one for us. I know he hates it when we call for him.
He said, what's that? When I show it, they don't say it?
Well, we'll see if we can get that in just a moment. But back to the live action. The ball at the West 12-yard line. First down for the East.
And Price Williams is quarterbacking. McPhee is going with the rotation that every other series he brings in a new quarterback.
His running back was Charles Anderson with the ball. That's Charles Anderson of Central of Lunenburg. And I guess we may or may not have had that fumble, but if we have it, we'll certainly show it to you in a moment. Terry Kirby will check in for the East and replace Mark Hill of Norview in the backfield. So it'll be Charles Anderson and Terry Kirby. Corey Holliday will set up wide to the right, and the quarterback is Price Williams. Colonial Heights, big 6'4" Price Williams, and now a flag goes down. And I'm not sure what they're going to rule here. We'll wait and see if we can get the call from Ron Cherry. Illegal procedure against the West.
That's the second time, and what happens is one of the defenders evidently is lining up in the neutral zone, which is a violation.
And unlike college and pros where you must cross that line, you don't have to. All you have to do is line up in it. The ball does not have to be snapped.
Right. Well, that brings up a different call here. It's 2nd and 2 instead of 2nd and 7.
3:37 left here in the first half. The East squad leading by a point, as we've had a touchdown for each team, and the extra point try for the West was negated by the interception by Melendez Bird. Price Williams' pass is knocked down.
Number 72, Tim, excuse me, that's Keith Hamilton, and he 6'8", 248 out of Heritage. I mean, he went up and it was like a screen in front of the quarterback. He said, wow, what happened to the receiver?
So Williams threw it right at the defender, Hamilton. Hamilton obliged him by putting his paw up in the air and just batting it harmlessly to the ground. You watch the replay of that last play. See, he'll turn around. He doesn't even try to go backwards. He was looking in the corner for Corey Holliday.
And he was open.
Third down and short. This is Terry Kirby following his blockers down close to what can, in fact, be a first down without a touchdown being scored.
It depends on the mark.
It'll be extremely close to the first down. We'll have to wait and see exactly where they mark the ball.
They're calling 4th down.
Well, this brings up an interesting situation. You're up by a point, 3 minutes and some change left in the first half. You got a backfield that looks like Killer's Row.
Well, it looks like they're going to measure. The East may have called for a measurement, which they can do. But it also gives the coach a chance to think about what play he wants to call. Oh, that's a first down. That's a first down by Eagle Eye. Tim, you should have picked that up. I mean, that was a good football length.
I'm not in training for this. I'm out on a baseball schedule.
Oh, okay. Well, it is a different color ball and a different size, isn't it?
A 1st and goal for the East squad. So the initial indication of a 4th down was highly premature. Price Williams will be over quarterback. In the backfield will be Antonio Conway along with Terry Kirby. And this is Kirby, and as of yet no official signal of a touchdown. It's going to be close. They're going to mark it shy of the goal line. So Kirby was submarined. I didn't pick up the defender on the play, but he did a heck of a job of taking the wheels out.
The center of that line, but somebody must have been the nose guard or somebody submarined and caught him and upended him.
You have to wonder, you and I and Slow-Mo Joe were talking about on the way up here, and when we got here, you have to wonder if you're the coach of someone like Terry Kirby, whose whole season may very well be wrapped around his success. You have to wonder about injuries in a game like this and how hard you really like to see your players play. We got a penalty on the field, and while we have this momentary timeout, 2:22 left here in the first half. 2nd and goal at the 1. And again, stacked up shy of the touchdown. I'll tell you, that West squad, both squads have been superb on defense, but the West squad here has come up with some big plays.
That was Matt Johnson, 6'2", 263 out of Honaker High School. Met Terry Kirby right at the line of scrimmage and gave up nothing.
There you see the replay. Kirby trying to spin away from the would-be tackler, but nothing working there.
Well, this is a time when you may fake to Terry and hand off to another one, or take it in as a quarterback keeper, which you do.
Bryce Williams takes it in for the touchdown.
Mr. Bryce Williams in to attempt to, after breaking the touchdown, has a chance to kick the extra point.
His kick is long enough, but it is wide.
It went to the right. Well, that opens the door up for the West.
So with 1:39 remaining here in the first half, the East squad has added to their lead and now lead by just 7 points. As you see the East squad coming off to the near sideline. Great number of these players will be going on to some college action, and you and I, as we mentioned, will be very anxiously awaiting to see how this works out for some of these players. Just some of the players from the Peninsula District that are directly involved. For example, as we mentioned earlier, Eric Hunter will be going to Purdue. James Wilson, as you also mentioned, will be going to Tennessee. James Wilson, the premier defensive lineman for the Hampton Crabbers.
And he'll be there with Todd Kelly from Bethel, also going to Tennessee.
Tim Williams of Phoebus, as of the time of this printing on this program, was undecided where he will be going. Kenny Owens will be going to Lees-McRae College. Todd Kelly, University of Tennessee, as you mentioned. And of course, Terry Kirby off to UVA. Melendez Bird will be going to Virginia Tech. Some running room on the far side.
That was number 24 for the West. Is finally run out of bounds by the kicker, Bryce Williams, and number 63, Terry Hayes.
Michael Johnson, number 24 for the West team, with a good return.
That was an excellent return. Takes him out to the about the 36-yard line. But you know they're going to put the ball up in the air. You got 1:30 to go in the half, and you want to get it. Here you can see he really follows his blocker well, and he breaks to the left and does a good job of running that ball.
Bart Zopp is in the quarterback spot for the West squad. The left-hander flares the pass out on the screen. And stepping out of bounds is number 80, Lewis Preston, who caught a ball earlier for the West squad.
Well, Zopp is a left-handed quarterback that we had seen 2 years in a row for Fauquier, where Hampton went up to Fauquier and beat him 2 years ago, and last year beat him down at Todd Stadium in Hampton. I'm sorry, in Newport News. And there's a good shot of Tim Cole along with his sidekick.
Tonto. Pickup of about 5, call it 2nd down and 5. 1:09 left in the first half. West squad trailing by a touchdown and an extra point. Zopp fakes and gets set to pass. throws the ball in a crowd. He had one man open again, his favorite receiver as of last time, Lewis Preston. This ball thrown a little too high for Preston. There were 5 East defenders in the area there, although the ball might have been catchable if it had been a little lower.
And of course, what they're trying to do is get as many plays as they can before the halftime, and that's why the young man played before, after he caught the ball, ran out of bounds to stop the clock.
There you see that number 71, Kevin Farkas, 6'8", 295. There you see big 71.
He is big, believe me. And when he sits down to eat, he eats anything he wants.
Going to go to Liberty University. I believe that's right here in good old Lynchburg. Zopp gets the ball away. It is incomplete.
The ball was intended for number 42. That's Vincent Jamison, but boy, was he hit, and hit hard, by number 11, if I'm not mistaken, James Hall. Leveled him.
And Jesse Kay bulldogged Bart Zopp to the ground after he let the ball go. As you watch here on the replay, you see Zopp has some time, steps up in the pocket. There you see Kay giving him some pressure, and he put him down pretty good after he let the ball go. And now 4th down brings up a kicking situation with 2 seconds left, less than 1 minute to go here in the first half. Oh my goodness, a contact made with the punter, and that's going to be...
No, he didn't get the ball.
Exactly.
Got to get the ball, and he didn't get the ball. But it may have been blocked into the kicker, so I don't know what the call is. It looks like Ron Cherry, the referee.
Pick up the ball! Pick up the
Here's some of the coaches picked up on our sideline microphone, indicating that they felt some contact with the ball was made. I didn't see the ball hit. I saw the punter.
No, the ball was never hit from my viewpoint, but he may have been blocked into the punter. Into the punter. So I don't know if Joe's got that on instant replay or not, but regardless, it's going to be a 15-yarder, and means the West still has the ball.
So the East squad disputing somewhat whether or not contact was made. As you obviously would know, the rule is that if you make contact with the ball, then you can make contact with the punter. But you must make contact with the ball, or you will be called for a penalty if you rough the kicker. And we're going to get a chance to watch it again. Let's see if we can possibly pick up what happened here. He was partially blocked into him.
And he was blocked to the side, so he couldn't go right at the ball.
So, regardless of what the replay may or may not show, the play stands as a first down at the 44. Zopp, feeling all kinds of pressure, gets away from a would-be tackler and now throws the ball short of his intended receiver at the 37-yard line.
It's a good thing he got rid of the ball, because he was going to lose about 20 yards.
Kerry Perkins was the intended receiver, and that ball was thrown away as much as anything to avoid being sacked. Stops the clock with 43 seconds remaining in the half. There you see Coach Mike Smith, who is not, in fact, coaching this game. You watch a replay of the pressure. Zopp does a good job here. He almost gets tackled by 61 Jesse Kay, who's been all over him throughout the latter part of the second quarter. There you see one hops it to his intended receiver, incomplete. 2nd down and 10 at the 44.
And number 10 is quarterbacking now, the other quarterback.
He throws a bomb. The ball is up for grabs, and it falls harmlessly to the ground, as that was David Bedwell back in at quarterback for the West.
And that was 32, Stephen King, and 35, Sean Croker, the 2 defenders for the East, and anybody could have caught that ball.
Melendez Bird was there as well. There you see Melendez Bird just to the right of your screen. Watch the replay.
And you can see Joe Lewis doing a good job on the instant replay, and he just reared back and threw it.
Hail Mary at the 3-yard line. So no interference on the play. The intended receiver was Lewis Preston, who's caught a couple of balls here. Now a timeout is being called with a little more rather than a half a minute left here in the first half. If you joined us late, you're watching the East-West All-Star game. This is the Virginia High School Coaches Association 18th annual game from Lynchburg. Our second annual trip up here to City Stadium, something we enjoyed tremendously last year and are happy to be back again this year. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble, and there's a young Womble there to the right talking with head coach Dennis Kozlowski of Bethel High School, who you heard interviewed between the first and second quarters. You know, if we can for a moment talk about some of the prospects this early in the season for the upcoming season on the peninsula. Looks like there's going to be a load of talent once again, not only with Hampton but other teams as well.
Oh, and we have got a 10-game schedule that the people will love. We've got all 4 Hampton schools are going to be on there 4 times each this year, so we're really looking forward to it. There's a good shot of Terry Kirby. Fine young man, and not only a good athlete, but a fine scholar.
We're going to kick off the season with the second encounter between Hampton High School and Tabb High School. Of course, Hunter and Kirby will not be present, of course, as they graduated this past season. On the end around, this is Lewis Preston, and he's going to be run out of bounds inside the 35, about the 33-yard line.
And very close to a first down, and I believe it is a first down. But I tell you, the West are pulling out all stops. They're just keeping the East guessing. The East did a good job of pursuing, which that's what you want if you're the offense. You want the East defense to pursue because it took them out of the game, out of that play.
There you see Lewis Preston following his blockers, and he picks up good yardage. He does get the first down for the West.
And Melendez Bird was one of the young men over there that side to run him out of bounds, but he picked up the first down, so they got 27 seconds, and it's really within striking distance now with the ball spotted. What about the 33?
Quarterback continues to be David Bedwell. Straight back. Plenty of time, but he can't find anybody open. Gets pressure from Kay. Kay is picked up on a good block, and Bedwell now will run himself, and he'll be driven out of bounds, and a late flag comes down. We're going to say that he was roughed by Tim Williams of Phoebus High School.
We saw the same situation earlier that they didn't throw a flag, where a young man was hit out of bounds from the east, and now they're throwing a flag on this one. So, but it was definitely, he hit him out of bounds. But you got to call it both ways.
We're going to watch Bedwell as he pump fakes and then does in fact pick up extra yardage as a result of that. There you see him hit just as he goes out of bounds. You know, that was close. But, of course, the protection of the players that are always the foremost thoughts of the officials.
And now you got it on the 14 with 15 seconds with a 1st and 10. Gives you all kinds of chances to score.
You can get 3, maybe 4 plays off this close because you don't have to go for a long ways. You can throw that quick.
The West is really dominating this second quarter offensively.
Hope you'll stay tuned at the conclusion of our first half. A.G. Womble, our man on the field, will be doing some interviewing at halftime, so stay tuned as we have 15 seconds remaining. Dr. Don Musselman, the superintendent of schools for the city of Hampton, and Mike Smith, the head coach at Hampton High School, will be AG's guests. In the corner, the pass thrown, and it is touchdown.
What a nice pass from the quarterback. Got him right in the end zone, right in that corner. And now they have a chance to take the lead. With a 2-point conversion, if they go for the single digit, they will only tie, and they are calling a timeout to talk about it. Here we see it on replay as number 10, David Bedwell, breaks to the left, throws the ball, and it's caught right in the corner, and all you have to do is have 1 foot in, and number 11, Kerry Perkins, made a fine catch.
Are you sure about the 1 foot? I thought in high school
1
they had
foot.
2.
All I have to have is one foot in bounds.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought you had to have 2 in college and high school.
Pros, you got to have 2.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
See, I'm thinking baseball.
I know. You got to have all of them in baseball, right? Well, there's no out of bounds when you got the ball, because that's a foul ball. You still catch it, right?
That's right. See, we'll confuse you. You stay with us. We'll have you wondering what in the world these two men are talking about. In any event, the East squad has seen the West squad come back with the help of a personal foul. Personal foul on a good call. It was definitely a hit out of bounds, and as a result of that, the West squad has been very opportunistic, and they have come within 1 point of tying this ball game.
Well, they've made 2 excellent calls on a reverse end around. You know, they deserve moving that ball down the field. The East made some mistakes,
and they're going for the 2-point conversion. One of the things I like about high school ball.
Make it.
Did not. So the extra point try is no good. And of course 8 seconds still remains on the clock. So David Bedwell tried to weave and bob his way into the end zone for the extra point, and
looked like Charles Williams was one of the tacklers, but there was 2 or 3 people that hit him.
So 8 seconds remaining as we've got a tight one. Last year's 9-7 victory by the East squad. Not a dissimilar situation to this game. This one's been close from the beginning.
Well, when I said earlier that the West was dominating offensively, I just meant that they were controlling the ball more, it seemed like, this second quarter. But they ended up making a score on a 5 pass. You might look for an onside kick here to stop any long run back. And that's number 66 for the West, teeing the ball up, and that's Tim Spence.
I want to talk to you more at halftime about this 1 foot, 2 foot thing.
Well, no, that's called the waltz. 1 step, 2 step. And you can see he's got the ball laying flat, so it is going to be a squib type kick.
Now the clock will not start until a receiving team player touches the ball, and they do so, and immediately the clock is stopped with virtually no time going off the clock.
And the reason it was downed is because that is a live ball. Anybody can pick the ball up. But that was a smart move by number 40 on the East, Antonio Conway.
And a timeout being called by the East squad as they will want to gather their thoughts here with just 8 seconds remaining. They have the ball at their 27-yard line.
What do you think they're going to do, Tim? He's talking to Eric Hunter.
Gee, I would imagine. Well, you know, Hunter's had some fair amount of success here with Corey Holiday, as we saw early in the first half. In the first quarter, Holiday was the man making that reception, and Hunter, as we both know, has a very strong arm. I mean, we have seen him throw the ball 55 yards in the air and done so with accuracy, so there's nothing out of his range.
And it doesn't look like he expends a lot of effort when he does.
He's got wide receivers both to the left and right, Holiday to the near side. And he's got Jerry Inman to the right. And as we suspected, Hunter will unload, and he throws it right to a blue jersey.
It was right over the head of Todd Kelly.
Kenneth Terry intercepts Eric Hunter, and he's wrestled to the ground.
And we ran out of time.
So Hunter throws the ball to the wrong man, but it doesn't cost the East any points as the time runs out here in the first half. So the East squad holding on to a 1-point lead after the first half. And we will have some interviews here momentarily, so bear with us. I'll run down the scoring for you. Kirby scored with 3:55 to go in the first quarter from 1 yard out. The extra point was good, making it 7-0. Then Poindexter scored on the pass by Price. Well, check that. Yeah, David Bedwell, making it 7-6 as the extra point try was no good. Williams scored from a yard out for the East squad, making it 13-6. And then Perkins, with 8 seconds left in the first half, scored on a 14-yard pass from David Bedwell. The extra point try was no good, and that's where we stand here at halftime. The East squad leading by the score of 13-12. Your thoughts, Bob, on the first half as we are waiting for AG to line up his interviewees?
Well, I'm pleased to see such a close game. I'd hate to see a blowout from either team. I thought the West took advantage of some mistakes by the East, but yet they still trailed by 1 point. I thought the East looked sharper offensively than the West did, because they did get one big turnover. So who do we have down there right now? We got AG with Mike Smith. Well, let's go ahead and go down to AG.
We got Coach Mike Smith here. Mike, East up 13-12. Your observations on the first half?
Well, I'm very pleased. I think it's been an excellent ball game thus far. Normally you don't get this much scoring in the first half. The scoring usually comes in the second half after the offenses kind of fill out the defenses. You know, defense usually controls the early part of the game, but I've been very pleased. I think both teams have played very well.
The Hampton boys have done well tonight also.
Oh, I think all the Peninsula kids, you know, from Ferguson, from Bethel, and Hampton, and Phoebus, Tab, and York. Really proud. Great group of kids.
Mike, a lot of games going on this week, and you're coordinator of all the games. That's quite a responsibility. What all goes on this week here?
Well, primarily most of the work's done prior to coming here. The biggest thing that you're concerned about when you come in is that all your players that's been chosen report. We start in January sending out recommendation sheets for football, and we choose those first weekend of February. And we choose 33 players and 15 alternates on each team. And, you know, it's a continuous process keeping up those people. And then in March, at the end of March, we select the basketball and then the baseball in the second week of May. So it keeps you quite busy.
Okay, things going pretty good this week?
Well, things have gone very well, you know. About all our players reported. We only had to make a couple of substitutions, a couple of kids that were sick that couldn't report. But normally when I get down here, most of it's done. Then I have directors in each sports that help me down here. So.
All right, one final question, Mike. We got about 10 seconds here. You were going from side to side. What was going on there?
Well, I'm just going around to make sure that they stay by the rules. The West got the power I set down here, and it wasn't one of those 3 sets they could run.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Coach Mike Smith. Thank you.
That was one of the things that we saw, Mike, and of course I just thought that he was just making sure everything went together and all that. So that's an interesting observation.
All right, we're at halftime. Here you see the score. We'll return with the second half of action, but first this brief timeout.
WHCS, Channel 29.
Don Musselman, superintendent of Hampton City Schools. And Don, close first half.
Yeah, you know, you got 2 college teams out here, it looks like, and really, of course, I was disappointed in that last drive. You know, I like to go back to Hampton on Channel 29 and look at that replay of that block punt, because I think he made contact before his foot hit the ball.
Right, and one of the coaches was explaining to me, as long as the ball is not on your foot, you're a potential runner.
Yeah, evidently. As a matter of fact, he had contact with him before he kicked the ball.
The Hampton City School kids have represented themselves well tonight.
Oh, yeah, we have them all over the field tonight. You know, we have them at all positions almost.
Lindez Brown made several key tackles, and Todd Kelly's been in there, and Eric Hunter.
Yeah, Kenny Owens made that hit back there, and the safety that stopped that drive.
What about the activities here this week? Your thoughts on it? A lot of people back home might not know what goes on here in Lynchburg. Don?
Well, you know, it's a full week of coaches from all over the state having their state convention. And matter of fact, they have the basketball game for girls and boys, and yesterday they had the baseball game. It was rained out, and they replayed it again today, East-West All-Star game. And now the people of Lynchburg really have hosted this well. You know, they've really been nice up here.
Big turnout tonight also.
Oh, yeah, a big crowd tonight.
And our coaches over the years have participated quite a bit at this event.
Oh, yeah, if you look around, our coaches are coordinating the ball game, coordinating the programs, coordinating some of the clinics. It seems like they're running the show.
All right. Don, any predictions on the second half?
Well, I tell you, if they can keep rush that passer, keep him from getting it away, I think we won't have any problem with him.
All right. Thanks a lot. Don Musselman. Thank you, Don.
There you see our halftime score here at Lynchburg Stadium. The East squad with 13, the West squad with 12 in the final game of the All-Star Week here at Lynchburg. And this is, as you saw earlier in the broadcast, there are a lot of activities besides this football game, and the West teams have dominated the entire week as they have won going into this game, both the men's and the women's basketball, as well as the baseball game. I understand the West squad won 5-4 earlier this afternoon, the 13th of July.
Yes, it was, Tim. While we got a second here, do you want to explain about 1 foot 2 feet in on a pass catch? You talked me out of what I thought I was right, and I was right.
The two-step is a favorite dance of a lot of people in the southwestern part of our nation.
Okay, very good.
I'm going to open my mouth and change feet here.
Okay, no problem. Ron Cherry came up, who was the referee, of course, for the team, and one of the things that Mike Smith was talking to Ron about is when a punter has the ball, he is a potential runner. You can hit him if you hit him before he kicks the ball, and that was Mike's contention, was that the young man was hit before he kicked the ball, which means that there should not have been a penalty involved in that play. But that's all water under the bridge now. We got a 13-12 real close contest. As Mike said, there's a much more scoring here than we saw last year.
Yeah, they only scored a total of 16 points collectively last year in a very exciting ball game that we had the pleasure to be here for. But that's a real fine line with that kick situation, because are we talking in the motion of kicking or physically making contact with the ball and that type of thing?
If you remember the action, the young man who hit the kicker was between Ron Cherry.
Right.
So it was Ron Cherry, the tackler, and the punter, and he, of course, was looking to see if he was in the act of kicking, and I'm sure that's why he threw the flag.
Sure. Well, again, our reference to earlier when there was an out-of-bounds hit that did not get a flag, and then one later that did, the foremost concern of the officials is always the safety of the players involved, and they try and discourage it. I think they have to set a precedence that if they find that it's going on, and this was a rough game early. We alluded to the fact that these two teams were taunting each other and were fired up. I mean, this was like a championship atmosphere, and there were comments in the press throughout the week that the different squads were bantering back and forth. There's a highly competitive spirit. When you have champions, as these young men are, you're going to have a very high level of intensity.
Well, what do we have, Tim? We have all-stars. We have all-stars from all over the state of Virginia, some from the west and some from the east. And so, I mean, you're taking the cream of the crop of the athletes, graduating seniors in the state of Virginia, and you're putting them out here. These are all winners, or they wouldn't be here. They have put in a lot of time in the weight room and working on the fundamentals with the coach, and they want to come out a winner, and that's great, because that's what it's all about.
24 minutes remaining in this all-star game. A very definite undecided factor here. East by a single point. And the West squad will be kicking off to start the second half. It's a low end-over-end kick fielded at the 20-yard line by Terry Kirby. Kirby, looking for some running room, gets out to the 37-yard line where he's taken down.
And number 11 led the track. That's Kerry Perkins. Kerry Perkins was on a lot of plays at the first half. And they are zeroing in on Terry. He is a marked man out there, but
James Phillips also in on the stop, the 5'9" nose guard from Brookville High School. Here come the East squad from their 36-yard line. Eric Hunter is the quarterback. He's got Kirby and Hill in the backfield. Hunter again wants to pass. He steps by one would-be tackler and is going to be dragged down as he gets close to the 41-yard line, and he is hit hard by several West players, among others R.B. Shavers, and number 71 is Roger Nance. So, the hitting out here has been highly intense. You have to remember, these kids have not played organized football since the season ended last fall. So it's been 7-8 months, and these guys are in top condition.
Well, a lot of them play more than one sport. Like Terry Kirby, for example, plays basketball, as does Eric Hunter. Some of them play baseball. They work in the weights. They know they're going to a college, so they're going to stay in shape. When they go to report to college in the fall, they want to be in shape. And, of course, if you're not in shape in this ball game, you will get hurt.
Well, that's what we were talking about as we see Hunter riding the line, and a flag goes down, a late flag, as he was going along the line of scrimmage with the option play in mind. He held on to the ball, and a flag comes down as we have been handed, and we appreciate this, some quickie stats at the half here while we have a discussion about the penalty. If you don't mind, we're going to watch a replay, and I'll run down some of our first half statistics. The East squad had 5 first downs, as the West squad had 7. There you see Hunter being dragged down.
And evidently it's a face mask. It's a 15-yarder. It's a long penalty, a personal foul or a face mask. Well, Ron Cherry says it is a face mask. And that's a big break for the East, because that takes them from a 3rd and 5 to a 1st and 10 at the 45.
On the ground in the first half, the East squad, touted with those big running backs led by Kirby, had only 14 yards net gain on 16 carries. And the West squad not much better with 15 carries for 36 yards. And we'll get back to some more stats here in a minute as Eric Hunter brings them up 1st and 10 at the 45 of the West. This is right side is Terry. Check that, it's not Terry Kirby. Let's see if we can pick up the young man's number.
He ran right in the back of a blocker, and there was no hole there, but he did pick up a yard with effort. And I'm not sure who that was that carried that ball either, Tim.
Well, I believe the PA mentioned that it was, in fact, Terry Kirby. So it was Kirby. He picked up a little more than a yard. He has not gotten much, as he had 7 carries for only 8 yards in the first half. Hunter in the grasp, throws, and almost has it picked off. Actually, a good defensive effort by the East player, Corey Holiday, to break that pass up, as it could have been picked off.
Yeah, most certainly.
Let me just run down these stats. We'll get these done here. Passing yardage, 103 yards for the East, 83 for the West.
Hey, we see that last replay, Tim. Okay. Go ahead.
There you see as Hunter in the grasp gets the pass away and almost picked off as the West player on that play.
That was Vincent Jamison.
Yeah, he had a good shot at intercepting that pass. So it falls to the ground harmlessly, 3rd down and 9. Hunter getting pressure. Oh, nice move to get away from some of that pressure. Throws it back against the grain. He's got a man wide open. It's a Hail Mary. Oh, the 2 East players collide.
Number 20 had the ball all the way. That's Charles Anderson. And number 80 came up and really knocked him out of the way, Jerry Inman.
And we've got a flag back at the point where the contact was made with Eric Hunter.
Well, he may have been hit after he threw the ball. I'm not sure what happened, but we'll see here as he scrambles, does an excellent job of scrambling, getting away from the player, and nice pass here, and evidently he may have got hit after he let the ball go. But you can see number 20 has the ball all the way and really gets kind of hit. Well, may have been a defensive man coming in, but the penalty is against the East. I'm sorry, against the West. It must have been quarterback, roughing the quarterback. I didn't catch the signal, Tim, did you?
I am waiting for the signal. I think we're going to see that right now from referee Ron Cherry as he's marked it off. It's a personal foul, roughing the quarterback.
Did you see how far Eric threw that ball? I mean, falling backwards?
He was on his 35, and the ball was fielded at the
other 35, and it went across the field.
Yeah, about the 20, cross field being pressured. Tremendous arm on Eric Hunter. Hunter again wants to use that arm. He's got time this time. He throws in the end zone. He's got a man wide open, but he's out of bounds.
He's just a little too far, but the man was wide open. Looks like number 22 was wide open, Corey Holiday, who has been his favorite receiver today. But Eric just threw it out of the end zone.
We'll watch the replay, and I'll finish these statistics one way or the other. The East squad was 4 of 9 with 1 interception in passing. West squad 5 out of 10. Total offense almost identical, 119 yards for the West and 117 for the East. Just 1 punt per side, and the time of possession almost identical, 12:21 for the East, 11:39 for the West. And with that behind us, it's 2nd down and 10. And again, a struggle after the initial contact. And that is Mark Hill, number 44, carrying the ball for the East squad.
And that was Willie Johnson, number 35, that was in the bottom of that tackle. He has the orange helmet on, and you can spot him. Right there, he makes contact and drives the young man back, and then he got some help. 3rd and 9.
9:11 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Hunter again straight back to pass. His pass off the hands of Mark Hill, a little too tall for the young Mr. Hill.
Well, it had to be that tall. At number 33, Ronald Shavers would have got the ball.
So it's 4th down and 9 now for the East, leading by a single point. This game coming to you from Lynchburg Stadium in Lynchburg, Virginia. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble and crew.
And Terry Kirby reports in and takes Charles Anderson out. So we got Terry in the backfield, and now we're going to call a timeout. Eric needs to know what the play is, so he's going to have a timeout and talk with the coach.
Hunter was 4 out of 6 with 1 interception in the first half for 95 yards. And Holiday had 2 catches for 76, the longest being that 48-yarder that he caught. Kirby punted once for 30 yards. On the other side of the ledger, the West was paced by Preston rushing 1 time for 12 yards, and Shaver had 2 carries for 10 yards, the longest being 8 yards. Bedwell was pretty accurate with the pass in the first half, 4 out of 6 for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns. Preston and Perkins were his leading receivers. Preston with 3 catches for 64, the longest being a 49-yarder, and Perkins 1 catch for 14. Anderson punted 1 time for 26 yards for the West squad.
Well, I'm glad you got the statistics in. It's a good thing they called timeout. I yelled down the field and said, call time. Tim needs to get the... You believe that, don't you, Tim?
I believe it. I believe it. 9:03 left here in the 3rd quarter. Good crowd on hand for this ball game. Of course, a lot of people here realizing that this, as you mentioned earlier, is the cream of the crop. These are the best high school football players in the state of Virginia. Fourth down and 9 as the East squad is going for it. Hunter fakes and rolls. Throws over the middle. He has a man wide open. But he couldn't hold on to the pass, and that is his favorite intended receiver. That would be Corey Holiday. Holiday's been a busy young man. Should have had that. It wasn't badly thrown. Hunter put it there where it was pretty catchable. Holiday headed for the University of North Carolina. And watch the replay here. He had that ball, and he just couldn't get his hands on it. So with the turnover on the down situation as the West takes over, it was 4th down and 9, and that incomplete pass gives the ball over to the West.
Number 12, Zopp is in there, and I don't know if he's quarterback, and we've seen Zopp be a receiver and all sorts of things for Fauquier over the 2 years we've got to see them play. And it looks like he is the quarterback starting this second half.
David Bedwell did the bulk of the quarterbacking in the first half. Needing to get a football into the ball game. An integral part of the ball game, if you might imagine.
One step, 2 step. I'm going to call you 1 step, 2 step this football season, Tim. And people will have to write in to find out why.
First down for the West from their 28. Not much happening there.
Number 75, Wilson, is right down at the bottom of that pile. And James Wilson, we got to see him play. He's defensive end for this East squad from Hampton High School, coached by Mike Smith.
If I'm not wrong, too, he was the Defensive Player of the Year.
Yes, he was. If he wasn't, he should have been.
Tremendous athlete, James Wilson of Hampton High School. 2nd down and 10. Zopp gets pressure from Wilson and others. Unloads, the ball pops loose. They're going to rule it was incomplete, as the intended receiver was James Pendleton, number 89, from Gate City High School.
Well, Zopp almost caught it from Mr. Wilson. I mean, he was bearing down on him.
You gotta, when you hear that heavy breathing on the back of your neck.
And the hair on the back of your neck starts to stand up. Here you can see the replay on it. And there goes Wilson, and he has got a beat on him. And if Zopp had moved up and moved towards the line of scrimmage, he would have been hurting for sure.
That was real close to being a completed pass.
Fine defensive play.
Preston comes in motion to the near side. Zopp looks over the middle, completes the pass. That is Vincent Jamison, number 42, who will be shy of the first down.
He took some licks.
Number 42, the receiver.
Melendez Bird, number 81, was in there.
Fourth down now. 4th down for the East, checked it for the West squad. There you see the replay. Over the middle, completes the pass to Vince Jamison. And he comes up about 1.5 yards shy of the first down. And now we have whistles on the field.
Looks like they got 12 men on the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yes, there were 12 men. Number 70 had to come off. Would have been a penalty and would have been a first down for the West. So somebody out there is counting heads on that East team, and that's what you need, is somebody out there making sure you don't give up an easy first down.
Well, of course, and you can well appreciate the situation when you have an all-star game. You got players in there who are normally in there on situations that during the regular season they would be, and in an all-star game they're not. So it's easy enough to have an extra player out there now and then, and it does help your cause if you can get by with it.
Yeah, it does, but I don't think they would have got by with it.
7:29 left here in the third quarter. All of the scoring came in the first half. The East squad scored first. The West squad retaliated. East squad came back and scored again, and the West squad scored with just 8 seconds left in the first half.
Watch for a trick play here. I tell you, this West team has been trying anything.
Well, they are, in fact.
Oh, wow, what a bad kick.
Terrible punt is going to give the East squad great field position at the West 48-yard line. So a punt off the side of the foot.
Well, you can't blame the punter for that all, because he had to hurry a little bit because of the low snap from the center. So, again, the punters are not used to the snapper. You may have a guy that's not used to snapping for the punts.
Well, you know, I think he really didn't have that much pressure on him. Watch here.
Well, but you hurry. You have it in your mind. You think, oh, I got to get it off quick.
But look here, there's no one really close to him. He just blew it. There wasn't a man 10 yards from him, and he just shanked it off his side of the foot. And that's going to happen. I don't care who you are. Terry Kirby showing some of his magic.
And he still haven't tackled him. But he stepped out of bounds, but what a fine run, Tim. He was hit by 3 people. Throw Bo, you got to have that one. That was an excellent run by Mr. Everything, Mr. Football from Tabb High School, Terry Kirby. And you will see this. He is hit and met at the line of scrimmage. Well, here's the end of it.
That's the Kirby we saw last year and the year before and the year before. He just has incredible, look at this, his intensity. He just wasn't going to give up until he absolutely was shoved out of bounds. So.
And then he wasn't sure that he stepped out of bounds. He's still going to take it on down. So the ball is spotted at, what's that?
right at the 10-yard line, so it's real close to a 1st and goal. It may be a little short of the 10, which would not be quite 1st and goal. This is Kirby again to the near side, and he will not have the same success as he's thrown for a 6-yard loss.
And he had about 5 West defenders hanging on him that time. They strung him out.
Good pursuit by the West defense as Kirby will come out for a breather.
It looked like they lost about 5 on that play.
So they clogged it up, the West did, and he just couldn't find anything there. And of course, the longer you go laterally to the line of scrimmage, the more your pursuit has a chance to.
Well, eventually he'll learn that he can make a reverse pivot and go back the other way. He could have picked up some nice yardage, but it's easy to see on film.
2nd down and 16 after the 6-yard loss. Price, the quarterback, throws in the end zone. Touchdown!
Oh, nice catch. Number 80, and that's Jerry Inman, did an excellent job. What a nice pass and catch. Here we see that on replay as Price Williams goes back, drops back, gets a nice block from number 77, and throws the ball into the corner, and there you can see Inman concentrating, going up, catches the ball, and comes down. With how many feet in bounds?
At least one.
I'm picking on you, Tim. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. I can take it. Price makes the extra point. And now the East squad leads by 2.
By 8.
I mean, excuse me. By 8. I'm looking at 2 here. I'll be okay.
Well, I know you've been used to baseball, and 2 is a lot of runs in baseball. And I'm sorry, there are
there's
4 2s up there. There's 12, 20, and 622. And I can understand how you got mixed up.
All right, so the East squad leading by 8. With 6:22 to go here in the 3rd quarter. There you see the score.
And that was all set up by that fine run by Terry Kirby, and then a nice pass by Mr. Price Williams, who that young man is out of Colonial Heights. And let's see where he's going to college. I can't read it. I haven't got my reading glasses on. Catch that, Tim.
Sure, I'll fix you out here. He is going to the University of Richmond. Passed for over 2,700 yards and 26 touchdowns in only 2 years. So not only that, but he also plays linebacker. So Mr. Price Williams,
and he kicks extra points and he kicks off.
He's quite an athlete. Big boy too. He's not he's the kind of athlete size you want. 6'4", 210. That tall quarterback, stand over your center there and look at the defense. So he's going to make the University of Richmond real happy, I'm sure. He kicks off as well. I think he probably washes the uniforms at the end of the game. Out to the 30-yard line and then some. West squad will set up.
Number 35 for the West was in. That's Sean Crocker, who was in on that. Crocker, who was in on that tackle, along with a couple other ball players. Intensity has picked up a hair.
And the East squad is starting to get a little momentum. They've been waiting for Kirby to break something loose here. There you see the return on the kickoff out across the 30-yard line. They mark it just shy of the 31. Mark Zopp will be the quarterback. Left-hander goes back to pass, feels some pressure. And now flings it downfield, incomplete at the 40-yard line. Again, his receiver was James Pendleton.
John Smith, number 41 out of Madison County High School, did a good job of defending, or he would have caught that ball.
Pendleton had a good shot at reception, but couldn't hold on to it.
Well, neither one of the quarterbacks for the West have had a chance to go back and set up. They have been pressured just about all day.
And you see the replay. Zopp, again, rolling to his left and being left-handed, of course, is a big help. Second down and 10, 5:43 left. 20-12 our score. The East squad on top. Stacked up at the line of scrimmage, going outside, looking for some extra yardage. And
boom!
Finally hit hard.
Well, that was number 65 for the East. Who was that? Oh, that's Tim Williams out of Phoebus High School. That's who I thought it was. But he lowered the boom on him.
Michael Johnson was the running back. He did a good job of evading the tackle as the umbrellas come up here at the stadium. We've seen a little lightning off in the corner of the stadium here and some rain starting to fall. There you see he's set up nicely by James Hall, and then you see Williams come in and go, boom, take that.
And he lost a few yards on that. So it's third and looks like about 14.
Zopp again feels the pressure. This time rolling to his right, gets a nice pass completion out at the 30-yard line. The receiver was Willie Johnson, number 35.
And number 81, Melendez Bird, was the defender on that play, but that brings up a 4th and 11, so he only picked up 3 yards.
So the threat of rain has gone from a threat to a reality. The umbrellas, as I said, starts to pop up here, and the crowd starts to find some cover.
And you see who's running for cover down there, don't you?
He's not as dumb as he looks, you know. That's our roving reporter, AG.
And here's the replay on that last pass completion, which brings up a 4th down for the West.
Last time in the punting department is not much different from this time, as the punt again is shanked and will go shy of the 50-yard line. It's going to be just on the west side of the 50. It'll be marked there by the official. So the punting game has suffered considerably with Mark Jefferson having a tough night kicking the football.
Well, I tell you, it really hurts you when you don't pick up about 10, 12 yards on a punt. And we got Eric Hunter back in quarterbacking for the East again, as the quarterbacks are being rotated every offensive series. Well, it seems like the West played one quarterback the first half, and Zopp is quarterback in the second half.
Nice completed pass to Corey Holiday at the 35-yard line.
And almost broke it. Number 41 and 42 from the West. That's Tommy Thigpen and Vincent Jamison. Grabbed him and brought him down, but what a nice pass and catch and run.
Dude, I was going to say, good job. He picked up 10 yards after he caught the ball.
And this is just a straight drop back by Eric Hunter, and then a nice catch and then a spin, and you can see he was almost off to the races.
I'm impressed with Mr. Holiday. There are several players that have stood out in my mind. As there you see, I think you can see the rain on your screen, and the umbrellas popping up here at Lynchburg City Stadium. Inside handoff goes to Antonio Conway. Picks up a couple.
Antonio Conway with the ball.
They'll give him a little more than a yard on the play. Clock moving with 3:13 left in the third quarter. Terry Kirby checking in the ball game, replacing Conway. Watch the replay here. You'll see the slashing run and a good submarine job by the West defender to take Conway off his feet. East with the ball and an 8-point lead. Eric Hunter can't find a receiver. Now he'll do some scrambling. Eric spots a man wide open in the end zone. Touchdown!
Oh, what a nice catch by number 80, Jerry Inman. That's his second touchdown. But what a throw by Eric Hunter, scrambling, running to the left, and to find a wide open receiver in the end zone.
A 34-yard pass. We'll watch the replay. Hunter here steps up in the pocket, feels the pressure, then rolls again. Now he's rolling to his left, and he's a right-handed quarterback, so he has to throw in the opposite direction. He just threw that ball, spotted in, but wide open in the end zone.
But an excellent pass and catch.
Bryce Williams converts.
And it's 27-12 or 26-12, 27-12. Woo! you strike quick when you got people like Eric Hunter throwing the ball, and he's got some good receivers out there.
Well, he had some good receivers at Hampton High School,
he did.
too, and some of those young men will be back. I understand Aaron Monday will be returning for the Crabbers.
Brian Gerzak will be back. Crabbers going to be tough next year. As they have been every year.
Tell me when they weren't.
I can remember 1 year.
Not many.
Many moons ago.
Yeah, many moons.
Not since Mike Smith has been there. Mike has done an excellent job here with his coaching staff.
Well, no question about it. He's got some excellent coaches on his staff as well, as we've had the pleasure to have their help and assistance in many occasions. Two of them come to mind tonight. Lanny Franklin was helpful, as well as
Danny Mitchell.
And
of course, Alvis Mann is the other one. Walter Brower is the fourth one, who also is the head basketball coach.
The East squad have opened up a 15-point lead now, 27-12, with 2:39 left in the third quarter. Williams will kick it off again. It'll be taken at the 10-yard line. Out across the 30 to the 33-yard line. That was William Wells, number 30, returning the ball for the West.
And Sean Crocker was in on the stop, and I've called his name a few times tonight.
Stop William Wells.
So the West squad now will have to get back in this game pretty quickly. The momentum seems to have definitely turned in favor of the East. There you see a replay of the kickoff and the fine return. Back to the live action. Not much happening there, maybe a yard at the very most.
Oh, they lost about a yard. There was a fumble in the backfield, and the ball is spotted, about a yard loss. Spotted at the 30, with the chain being at the 31.
Inside of 2 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Only scores have been put on the board by the East squad. A 16 and a 34-yard pass from Eric Hunter to Inman. Extra points have been good. Bidwell, the quarterback, again completes the pass at the 40, close to a first down, as they need to get about to the 42. And it looks like they might be a little short of the first down.
Stephen King was the defender on a play, but that was a nice call. They brought a man in motion, and as they brought him in motion, the defensive back came across to help pick him up, and they swung it back out of the backfield, and he was wide open, and after he caught the ball, picked up about 10 yards. 3rd and 1, they were 2nd and 11.
I don't know if you can see it on your screen, but the rain has gotten a little bit harder now. And of course, this may be a factor in the handling of the football, but not on this play, as the West squad gets more than enough for the first down.
Jesse Kay was a defender on the play, and a young man with the orange helmet, number 35 for the West, is Willie Johnson.
6'2", 221 from North Stafford High School. Johnson, a big running back, 6'2", over 230. You watch the replay here. That's, as you mentioned, Bob, him with the orange helmet.
And he picked up the first down. And we have Coach McPhee going in, bring out number 63. Looks like he's shaking up a bit. That's Terry Hayes, linebacker from Norview High School, who seems to be shaking up just a bit.
As we mentioned, of course, the college coaches of these young men have to be holding their breath to hope that all these young men escape this game without injury.
And they cannot come to this ball game.
Bidwell gets away from one tackler and then completes the pass across midfield at about the 48-yard line. The catch made by James Pendleton.
The only coaches that are allowed to come to an all-star game in the state of Virginia are Group 3 coaches and junior college coaches. Your Group 1 and Division 1 and 2 are not allowed to come.
Why is that?
It's a rule, silly rule.
Yeah, I mean, these young men are committed to their attended colleges.
Well, and it may be that somebody may not be committed, and of course they don't want anybody to do any recruiting here, so that's probably the main reason.
That is the end of the third quarter, and our score after 3 quarters is the East squad 27 The West All-Stars 12 has 2 touchdowns and extra points were added to the East total here in the third quarter.
Oh, man, AG's, like you said, is not as dumb as he looks. He went and got his umbrella.
That's he's going to go down there.
Oh, he's going to talk to Charlie Hovis. I see who he's got with him.
Yeah.
Charlie Hovis, a fine head coach at Tab, who was very instrumental in Mr. Terry Kirby all year long, for the last 4 years, as a matter of fact. He's had him as a starter for 4 years.
Is that a tear I see in the corner of his eye? He won't have Terry Kirby.
I'm sure he's going to miss him, but he's, you know, all his good wishes go with Terry.
All right, AG, go ahead.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Oh, we got Charlie Hovis, Tab coach, happy with Kirby's play so far.
Yeah, so far. You know, Terry's been real good. You know, if it's been me again, I'd have let him run the ball a lot more than he has. But, you know, it's an all-star game, and the rules are so that you need to pass. And they're mixing up their passing and running. They're keying on Terry, and they're taking advantage. Each team has such good receivers this year, and eventually I think it wind up Terry will break another one or two for it so well.
We've got a big date coming up September 1 at Darling Stadium. Your thoughts going into that big game?
Well, we really hadn't sat down and do a lot. I've been just trying this summer to get the kids in lifting weights. We lost a lot of good kids, and you know we're rebuilding, and we're trying to get the kids ready because we know Hampton's going to be ready for that ball game.
Coach Hovis, good luck to you, and thanks a lot for talking to us.
Thank you.
Charlie Hovis. Thank you.
David Bedwell greeted roughly by the defense of the East squad for
that's Glenn Pettis, number 89, and that's the first time they've been sacked in the back. But Tim, the rain is really coming down. You can see it in the lights and all out here, and the people are starting to move. The umbrellas and the plastic is going up. And I'm glad you and I are high and dry.
Here you see the replay. Steps up, and there's no place to go and no one to get it to. Glenn Pettis, 89 from Nottoway High School, was right there. And it is pouring, folks. This rain had been predicted for earlier today, but it didn't get here until now. And it is here with a vengeance. This is Bedwell again getting pressure from James Wilson. Throws the ball incomplete. A flag goes down.
No, he was hit before the ball got there. That was an excellent call. The official made an excellent call on that.
So our roost here being a little overrun as the fans undoubtedly wanted to take advantage of a dry spot. There you can see the rain. In the ball game, 27-12, the East squad on top, looking to record victory number 2 in a row.
And that's a 15-yarder because that was definitely interference. As you can see on that replay, he was hit before the ball got there.
At the conclusion of the ball game, there will be most valuable player selections for both sides. Last year, David Brown of Phoebus High School was the East's MVP, and Lydell Scott of T.C. Williams, a young man we got the chance to see play a couple of times against the Crabbers in championship games. He was the West All-Star MVP. I get it right yet.
That's all right. One step, two step.
One step, two step. One step, two step. I'm going to work on that in the offseason.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, come that first game between the Crabbers and Tab, I'll have it down. I'll know what I'm doing.
Okay, well, that's what I'm planning on it, Tim, because you do a lot of carrying. You carry me a lot.
Crowd starting to run for the X's here as it is just a downpour. Still a lot of ball game left, however. The West certainly has not conceded this game. Bart Zopp is the quarterback, and they do the old dipsy doodle. He flipped it back, then got it back, throws downfield. The West has it intercepted. Kenny Owens from the Hampton Crabbers intercepts for the East. So Zopp handed to the fullback, who gave it ball right back.
That's the old flea flicker that they used. We've seen the Washington Redskins use that a time or two.
We'll get a chance to see it. Kenny Owens, one of those great stay-at-home defenders, was not fooled for a moment. He just stepped up. Here you go. Watch it. They give it back to him.
Well, he saw this ball. He's playing like a center fielder, and he saw the ball. It kind of hangs up there a little bit as he comes right across, right there. Beautiful timing, and just picked that ball off. Did a good job. Kenny Owens, Hampton High. And where is Kenny going to school?
I think, if I'm not wrong, Mr. Owens is going to Lees-McRae College. 10.5 minutes to go here in the ball game.
And you got Bryce Williams and quarterbacking again. Excuse me, Tim.
Right side carry across the 10 as a
lightning flashed across the sky as Terry Kirby got up after that run and picked up about a yard and a half. That will make the people move.
Crowd in good spirits here for the game.
And young Sam hasn't got an umbrella down there. Why hasn't anybody got an umbrella to Sam? Get one of those young ladies to walk around with an umbrella for him is what he needs.
Second down and 9 after the 1-yard gain. East now content to keep it on the ground for the time being.
Well, they're back up, but they're back to their goal line. And that was just a straight handoff to number 44 for the East, Mark Hill out of Norview High School on the south side.
Checking in for the East squad is Antonio Conway, and he'll replace Charles Anderson in the backfield for the East.
Well, you don't want to do anything silly here with this wet ball, wet field, and give up an easy score for the West. So I'm sure they're going to keep the ball on the ground.
3rd down and 6. Ball squirts loose, as you might expect in this weather. Is picked up and run in for the touchdown.
Mark Jefferson, number 20 for the West, picked the ball up. It's very hard to handle down there. That's just what I was talking about. You don't want to give up an easy score, but sometimes you outplay yourself. He was doing a fake in like a crossbuck and just lost the handle. As you can see on the replay, he fakes to the first man going through. And really, he got the ball there. The ball was in the running back, so it was not the quarterback. The running back just did not hold on to the ball. Squirted out, number 20 for the West, picked it up and took it in for the score. And, of course, they're going to go for 2, so that'll put them within 7 points.
David Bedwell, quarterback on the option, pitches back, and he is going to come up short of the end zone. That was Kelvin Poindexter, who scored earlier in the ball game, so he'll come up short, and it'll remain a 9-point lead for the East. But those are the type of things you're talking about. It really was a good handoff. It's just that ball is real slippery. And
I'm not blaming the defense or the offensive back, Tim. He's used to a different quarterback, of course, who puts the ball in there maybe a little bit different. The ball is wet, slippery. Your uniforms are slippery. So, you know, it's just one of those things that happen, and it's nobody's fault.
Nope, absolutely not. These things just happen. But a big break for the West as they had been trailing by 15, and now that lead is only 9.
But it's still 2 scores. They've got to get 2 scores to get back in the game.
Well, would you anticipate the possibility of an onside kick here?
Guess who's kicking? Who is kicking off? That's because if you're leading by 9 points or more, even if the other team scores, you have to kick off to them. So the East is kicking and giving the ball right back to the West, which makes it interesting. That's a different rule for the that we see all year long.
That's right. You know, I remember in the college ranks now, in the All-Star games, the Shrine Bowl and so forth, that's exactly right, to keep the game close. They will, in fact, give the ball. So the West, having scored, will get it right back. So a big break here in the rules. Gives the ball to the West squad, assuming that they can hold on to it.
Well, I wasn't sure how many points it had to be, but I knew that rule existed. And but you know it's at least 9, because that's what they're trailing by.
Return set up on the near side.
And number 32 for the East was defense. That's Stephen King.
Michael Johnson returning for the West.
Look at the, is he dry or what?
That's AG with his son, Brad. They are down there staying high and dry as the rain appears to have slacked off just a little bit.
Well, if you look at the lights, it's not a whole lot, but it's not coming down quite as hard as it was.
8 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. West squad trailing by 9, and they have the ball. They'll start it from their 32-yard line. Bedwell, right side handoff to Kelvin Poindexter.
Number 11 for the ES, James Hall, made the stop. But he picked up, picked up about 4 yards, 3-4 yards. But they're going to have to basically keep the ball on the ground because it is so wet and slippery. I'm sure that it, makes it a little harder to pass the ball.
Well, you want to keep the defense honest too, and
that's true.
Besides that, it's easier, in my opinion, it's easier to run for the offense. It's easier on a wet field than it is the defense.
Oh, yes.
You know where you're going, and the defense obviously has to react. Pass in the flats. Good defensive effort by the East, and staying with his man all the way was Sean Crocker. Again, a name you have mentioned on several occasions.
And that's Lewis Preston, number 80, who was the flanker and got the ball on that side and actually ended up losing about a yard and a half.
Looked like he was going to have a gainer out of it, and good defense by Crocker.
Well, that's a play earlier, had some earlier success by the West. As you remember, in the first quarter, they run that play and picked up quite a bit of yardage. So the East was, at least he remembered and learned from that experience.
So it brings up a 3rd down and about 9 for the West. Trailing by 9. Clock stopped with the out-of-bounds play. 7.5 minutes to go. The East squad looking for victory number 2 in a row. Flags are down. Bedwell gets away from the pursuit, has time, throws into a crowd, and is picked off by the East squad. That is Terry Hayes, number 63, but remember, there is a flag down.
And I'll tell you what the flag was. The West did not have enough men on the line of scrimmage. The far split receiver on the other side was back in the backfield, as was the one on this side, so you got to have at least 7 men on the line of scrimmage. I bet you that's what it was.
I'm not sure the replay will show us that alignment. No, it won't, but that'll be an interesting situation to watch here. If it is against the West, certainly the East will take the ball.
And they will, and it's been called against the West. The illegal procedure, and of course it's nullified, which turns the ball over on a nice interception. Well, that was number 63, Tim, that intercepted that ball?
Yeah, sure was.
Terry Hayes.
So 7:18 remains here in the 4th quarter. Clock is started, and the East squad now undoubtedly will want to wear that clock out.
Well, we got Eric Hunter quarterbacking, and if Mike Smith was coaching, I wouldn't say that he's going to keep it on the ground, because every time I try to catch Mike Smith, he always makes me out a liar.
When I see Terry Kirby throw downfield, his pass is a poor pass.
That was a a halfback option, which wasn't a bad play to go. The ball was intended for number 80.
Jerry Inman.
He's the one that caught the last 2 touchdown passes, if I'm not mistaken.
Clock stops with 6:54 remaining.
There's a good shot of Mike Smith, and he's underneath an umbrella. As all the smart people are underneath umbrellas, or have umbrellas.
Or are announcers that can be in a covered area.
There he goes all the way, number 22, Corey Holiday, and a nice pass from Eric Hunter. That'll kind of break your back. Eric Hunter is such an impressive athlete. Drop back, squared his shoulders, nice pass right to Holiday. And Price Williams is back in to attempt to point after to try to make it 34-18.
Ruled no good as it's wide to the right.
There's a shot at Terry Kirby.
So 3 touchdown passes here in the second half by Eric Hunter.
And look at this nice step by Holiday. Just sidestepped the defender, and no way anybody's going to catch him. And it is coming down hard.
We're looking at probably the highest scoring game in the history of this event, and let's see, I believe that's going to be it. The highest point total ever put on the board was 27 by the East squad back in 1976, so they have eclipsed that record, and I think the two teams combined will be, and you know, ironically enough, the playing conditions are horrible. So throw out that theory of the offense being behind the defense. Fumbled and fallen upon, and that'll kill the clock and the ball right there.
Well, that was a smart play. You try to pick it up and get hit and turn the ball over. You got to make sure you got the ball, and that's exactly what the young man, number 30, did. And that's William Wells out of Nelson County High School.
So the West squad trailing 33-18 with a little more than 6.5 minutes to go. Bart Zopp will be the quarterback for the West. Sending to the near side, Kerry Perkins, number 11. Perkins caught a touchdown pass with 8 seconds to go in the first half to narrow the East lead to 1 point at halftime. Right side carry, number 32, Keith Palmer.
And Mr. Tim Williams, number 65, out of Phoebus, was the first to meet him.
And I'm told by Lanny Franklin, a little piece of trivia, that Perkins is deaf. He plays the game without the ability to hear. So that must be difficult. I wonder how he knows the snap count and everything. He just goes.
He knows. He probably has worked with the quarterback and kind of counts silently to himself.
Grundy Senior High School, 5'8", 180-pounder is Kerry Perkins. Zopp pitches back. And not much happening there for the West. There you see the rain coming down and puddling here at Lynchburg City Stadium.
That was Keith Palmer on the carry, and he didn't pick up many yards. Brings up a 3rd and 13. The announcer helped me out on that one. Looks like 14.
Slowed down, and then the quickness of the East defense.
And you saw number 81, Melendez Bird, going in for the kill.
Zopp over the middle, completes
nice pass and catch by number 89, James Pendleton out of Gate City High School. Nice touch on that ball by Mr. Zopp, who has had an outstanding career at Fauquier High School.
Looks like the test pattern for Channel 29 on that.
You can see the replay on that last pass. Just a real quick 2-step drop. Nice throw to your tight end right across the middle. Melendez Bird was the tackler.
First down for the West at the 35. This is Kelvin Poindexter picking up about 3. Ron Cherry helping Melendez Bird up off the pile there. You don't see the referee reach in and help the players all that often.
Number 64, David Bates, was the initial tackler out of York High School. His coach, Bob Schmidt, is one of the East coaches on the sideline that goes the same barber you go to, but I think he goes more often than you do.
3:45 left in the ball game. The West squad trailing 33-18. Second down and 8 at their 42-yard line. Bart Zopp rolling. The left-hander looks, has a man open at the 41-yard line, completes the pass.
Nice move. And he keeps right on moving. That's number 33.
R.B. Shavers.
R.B. Schaefers did a nice job after he caught the ball to avoid being tackled short of the first down mark.
It'll be enough for a first down for the West as they'll mark the ball at the 48-yard line. Clock is restarted with 3:19 to go. Watch the replay. Good effort on the part of Shavers.
Now watch him stop right there and not lose his feet, and avoided 2 tacklers, and there's the third one that finally slowed him down enough, but took 5 people to bring him down.
Always going forward. Halfback option pass, pulling out all the stops. As you mentioned, the pass goes incomplete. The passer was Poindexter.
And number 32, Stephen King, defensive back out of King William High School, was defending on the play. He was not fooled.
The intended receiver was Alfonso Ward.
As we can see some wet fans in the stands.
Fans in the stands trying to stay dry. Here, get Sam Jr. to get a shot of us as we're suffering up.
Oh, yeah, we're suffering, Sam. I mean, it's dry here. Where's your towel and your umbrella?
That's the dedication that got him the job with the CBS affiliate in Richmond.
We're proud of him.
We certainly are. We're, in all seriousness, very happy for young Sam. He's been a great contributor to our coverage in the past years, and we'll certainly miss him when he can't be with us. In the flat, the pass completed to Alfonso Ward. He's across midfield to about the 47-yard line.
Well, there was a block being thrown at the defensive back prior to the ball getting there, and I don't know if that's a legal thing or not.
Well, there's no flag down, so apparently there will be no penalty. 2:25 remaining in the ball game. 47-yard line will be the point they mark the ball. Bring up a third down and about 4 for the West. Clock continues to move as the stands have been considerably depleted with the onslaught of this rain, and I mean it has poured for the last quarter.
Nice delay to number 22 for the West. Got some running room. Finally brought down by a number 11 for the East, along with who is that number 63, our young man Terry Hayes, and number 11 is James Hall. A nice delay, almost like a draw. Good shot of Todd Kelly, number 88, young man going to Tennessee. Has 3 other young men besides him on this East squad going to Tennessee. You might say Tennessee recruits heavily in Virginia.
And good reason to do so. This is Poindexter on the draw play, and they did not fool the defense of the East that time. In there, among others, was Reginald Givens, number 30, and David Bates, number 64 for the East.
They smelled that one out.
Loss of about 2 yards on the play. More importantly, the clock continues to move as you might say the West has conceded this ball game. 33-18 as the East squad will register victory number 2 in a row. A 9-7 victor last year. Zopp on the pitch out. This is Keith Palmer. And he gets the first down. Let's check that.
It's Terry Hayes and John Smith run him out of bounds.
He will not have the first down. It'll be...
Well, I thought he had the first down too, Tim, but he went out of bounds, which stops the clock.
Yeah. So bring up about a third down and 3 as we'll watch the replay. Zopp with the option. Nice flip back and a good running effort that time. And again, he's always churning forward. So it's 3rd and 3 for the West. Clock stopped with 1:14. Zopp fumbles the ball, gets it back, however. And now it'll be 4th down for the West. Knocked away.
Melendez Bird was the defender on the play.
Bird was the defender on the play, as I was going to say. And the clock stops with 26 seconds remaining, and on downs, the East squad will take over, and they will secure this victory. 33-18, just a half a minute remaining or so. The crowd continues to file out as the rain continues to come down here at Lynchburg.
Well, I don't know if we're going to get some post-game interviews or not with AG, but we'll see what happens.
We understand that it'll be his effort to try and interview the players that were representing the Peninsula District here, since obviously they would have the greatest amount of exposure out of this, and hopefully we can get a chance to talk to some of those players. They have been outstanding, and if time permitting, we are able to give you the MVP announcements for this game, we will do so. As being driven out of bounds was Charles Anderson for the East, stopping the clock with 21 seconds to go. So a lot of scoring. Halftime found the East on top by 1 point as they led 13-12. The West squad narrowed that margin with a touchdown with just 8 seconds remaining in the half. But in the second half, it's been too much Eric Hunter and too much of the receiver
Terry Kirby, and defense, too much Eastern All-Stars.
And the clock runs out, and that is the final score, 33-18. The East squad registers victory number 2 in a row. It had a dry spell of 7 consecutive games, and now they've registered that second in a row, led in large part by the offense and defense of Peninsula players as the rain now really starts to pour. And AG will deserve combat pay if he's brave enough to go out there in this mess.
As you can see, the crowd is going out there at the final score, 33-18. AG is going to try to get some of our players, as you mentioned, Tim. But I'm anxious to see how he's going to do that. It is raining harder now than it has the whole game.
Sky have opened up here at the conclusion of this ball game, so it is a rainy one. I guarantee you those football players like this rain now. They can feel that refreshing coolness. And we will hopefully have a chance to talk to some of the East squad players, Mike Smith and his coaches out there. Dennis Mitchell out there drenched to the bone. MVP announcements coming momentarily.
The most valuable player for the East side, number 10, Eric Hunter, the quarterback.
Eric Hunter, the quarterback, so he would have gotten our vote, at least that's the way I had seen it. As he threw 3 touchdown passes here in the second half.
Number 80 was
Lewis Preston. So Eric Hunter,
there's AG.
Purdue quarter, he's got
moment for you in a nice high school career this way.
Yes, it's a very happy moment. We played hard. I think we deserved it. We worked hard in practice. Came out here to play. That's what we did.
Just Eric Hunter was just voted player of the game, and all the Hampton players seem to do well tonight.
Yes, sir. All of them did. Eric did a good job passing the ball. He did real good.
All right, where are you going to school next year, Tim?
Going to Virginia State, sir.
All right, good luck to you.
All right,
Timmy Williams. Got Eric Hunter. We on?
Yeah, we're on.
Eric. Congratulations. Hold it, Brad. Brad, can you grab that? Got Eric Hunter. First of all, Eric, congratulations, MVP, state champion football, state champion basketball, now MVP of the All-Star game. Big year for you.
Yeah, I feel that I accomplished a lot since my 9th and 10th grade year falling behind the rock, and he showed me how to, take leadership and take people to the state championship.
Okay. You had about 3 TD passes there. That rain didn't seem to bother you.
No, it was really 2, but what can you say if you got a good offensive line and they give you the time to throw the ball, you got to utilize them.
Are you going to be throwing for Purdue next year?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going to Purdue and starting for them.
Okay, good luck to you, Eric. Eric Hunter. Todd Kelly. Got a minute here.
All right, Todd, congratulations. Great game. Several receptions there. Big win for the East.
Yeah, we all week long, the West been talking, you know, they talking about, they had a quote in the paper, they're going to bust me and Tad Kirby. I didn't get that many receptions, but, you know, I did my job on the line blocking, and that's what made the team work.
Tennessee this fall?
University of Tennessee, Knoxville.
All right, good luck to you. Right. Todd Kelly, Melendez Bird.
All right, now.
This man played a great game tonight. Several key hits there and a couple interceptions. Good game, Melendez. Your thoughts on the big win?
Well, I'm just glad to be picked to come here, you know. And I like to thank Mike Smith, Coach Kaz, and Coach McPhee, and a lot of them, you know. Okay. And 29 for coming out here so I can record it when I get back.
All right, where are you going to school next year?
Virginia Tech.
All right, good luck to you. Yeah, Melendez Bird. Terry Kirby, are we still on here?
Yeah.
Terry, great game.
Thanks.
Terry Kirby got things started off for the East tonight.
Yeah, well, you know, we all came out. We knew it was going to be a tough game, and everybody just wanted to come out and play the best they could. And, you know, I knew that the defense was going to be out. You know, they were going to come out tough, come out strong, you know, trying to intimidate us. But we just came out and we pulled it through.
All right, I guess this is your last high school event?
Yes, this is the last one.
What thoughts reflecting back on a great career in high school?
I can't go back for another year, probably. That's, you know, I'm glad, you know, we had good coaching and everything all through my high school career, and I'm just happy that I finally got my state championship my junior year, and I ended it off this year with a win here, so I'm happy.
All right. Hey, any predictions on the Notre Dame UVA game?
It's going to be a tough one.
You go play?
Oh, yeah, I hope so. You know, I'm going up, hitting as hard as I can. Hopefully I can get in that starting lineup.
All right, good luck to you, Terry. Great career. Terry Kirby. Tim, Bob, back to you.
Thank you, AG. You lucky dog. You out there in that rain, and I tell you, the glamour of television, huh?
Make sure you just envy people like AG. You look good there, AG. Your hair is a little matted, though. Tim, this has been a tremendous contest, and Mike Smith told me before the game, I said, Mike, the West seem to be winning everything. He says, not the football game. The East is too strong, and Mike knows his talent.
Well, you know, that competitive spirit, when the tough gets going, the cream rises to the top, and the East had just too many guns for the West tonight.
Yes, they did. Both quarterbacks were good, Tim. Excuse me.
Yeah, they were. In fact, all the quarterbacks that we saw tonight were very impressive. I was very impressed with this Price Williams, this number 15 for the East, too. The East definitely had the edge, I think, in the quarterbacking. And, of course, the overall play of the East squad was just too much for the West as they went on to a 33-18 victory. So the East records victory number 2 in a row as they came away a 9-7 victor last time. We want to thank our crew for a great job as usual. They got out here and have been here since early this morning, did a great job doing the coverage of the game, and then of course under terrible conditions here in the second half have endured and once again done a super job as usual. So again, for the entire crew, the final score again, the East squad 33, the West 18. For Bob Hinson, A.G. Womble, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.